Hello, everybody. Hi, Ava. Who's your good girl? Who's your bestest good girl? Huh? Who's your bestest good girl? Oh, Cowlitz County has outdone themselves tonight. That should be of no surprise to anyone. I am just waiting for it to export, and assuming there's no issues, which there shouldn't be. There's no reason for it to censor me tonight. I did broke down and I used the censoring one because I needed to get it done quickly. And I'm so familiar with it, and I have all my shortcuts, and I can just zip, zip, zip and get it done. So that's what I did. Besides, I already paid for it, so there's that too. So now I've paid for 2 of them. She sure likes these quail eggs. Whoa. Oops, you missed that one. You want a duck ring? Earl's over there like, I am not a part of this. You cannot blame me for this, family. I did. I heard from her in Discord. She said hi to me, and we talked for a brief moment, but I'm assuming she's okay. I know she's alive, I got that much. I got that much info. I know she's in the same boat as all of us, where, she struggles with pain and medical stuff. So, she's family. All right. Hello, Nana Laura. Hello, C-Rex. Yeah, I wanted to get on early because it's a great case, but it's long. And then there's one right after it that it's not terribly long for the second one, but it would put us a little later than I usually like to stay up myself. So besides, coming on a little early, it gives others the chance to join in, and I like that. I the chat's the best part, so I like having as many people in it as possible. Hello, Wire Mother. Ava, stop. Wave pet, wave pet, wave pet. Hello, Joey Bacon Donuts. Oh no. Well, hello, Mrs. Donuts as well. Enjoy your time together. I don't know why everybody's getting censored. It's not me, I promise. I didn't do it. I don't control the YouTubes. If I did, I'd certainly have a better chair than this. No, I'm just kidding. I actually quite like my chair. Auntie M got it for me for Christmas. Well, okay, the chat got it, but she organized it. But it has been getting used as a scratching post. by one tiny kitten Esquire who's hiding. She's hiding right now. She knows I'm talking about her. Hello, Dark Zoomy and Space King. Yeah, we've been there, done that. Not doing it again. Hello, Mortimer Duke. Hello, Lisette Panette, sweetie. Hello, Otto. Hello, Charlie. I'm so happy to see all you guys so early. Hello, Eileen and Carlin. Oh yeah, Ava happens to agree. She's rather fond of this whole paw aura combo bucket of good stuff. Oh, there's a baggie in here I didn't open. Oh, what are you? I can't tell. You are something cubed. It could be chicken. Oh, I bet this is the freeze-dried. Maybe this is the salmon. Earl's like, I volunteer. Oh, that's the salmon. Earl. Come here, buddy boy. Earl. Come here. Earl. Come here. Yes. Yes, you. You want to try this? Hey. Try this. I give you permission. He's just sniffing it. Ava, I know you'll eat it. Earl, come here. Come here, buds. You are the most socially unsocial cat I've ever met. Oh, Ava, that's supposed to be for Earl, you piglet. Ava just stole it, Earl. You might as well get another one. Here, Earl. No, Ava, you let Earl have that one. Hi, Billy. Would you like to try this? Billy's not been a fan of any of them so far. Billy, you want to try this one, baby? Give it a try. No, not even. Billy's so picky. Ava, have salmon. Have some stinky salmon. Billy, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you won't even try it. No? I just got snubbed. I'll put a little chunk right here, and you can choose to try it on your own time, or Ava will steal it. That's kind of how it goes around here. Tiny Kitten will be in shortly, I'm sure. She absolutely loves the freeze-dried treats. Hello, Manuel. Welcome back. Who? Everyone? Oh, you worry about Michelle. I told you she would steal it, didn't I? Didn't I? I told you that would happen. The little thief. Hello, Jerry Matthew Boyd. All right, let's see here. I'm more worried about this one circling. She's got the shark teeth. Yeah, mommy didn't order the right ones. I didn't get any of the temptation ones, and those are the ones that Billy likes the best. And Bandit as well. I haven't tried any of the freeze-dried ones with Bandit because I'm concerned she doesn't drink as much water as these guys do. So I'm a little concerned with giving her freeze-dried treats. I don't want her to dehydrate. So I'll probably give her just a few and see if she likes them even. She has water completely accessible to her, but she doesn't drink as much as these guys do. So we'll see. We'll see. She's a little sneak, I tell you. All right, all right. Ooh, that look that Earl's given me. So, yeah, Cowlitz County outdid itself tonight. Yeah, that's where the first clip's out of. The second one is out of Texas, and it's a family affair. So, tiny little piece of freeze-dried something. Probably the salmon. Well, they never actually really put him in timeout. He timed out himself because it was thought that YouTube was seeing him as a bot. So the thought was if he sits 2 full chats out for 48 hours, that they would stop censoring him because they would recognize, oh, well, he doesn't always talk. He must not be a bot. They are still censoring him. So, yeah. It's just a YouTube thing at this point. All right, let's watch this dumpster fire. It's fun. Where did it go? Oh, why did it put it there? Oh, retrograde. I swear it started early. Yay! Hello, Mark and Real. Hello, Spider-Man, sweetie. Oh, thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you. I need to turn off. Okay. It should be better now. Thank you for pointing that out. Billy, you are not going to be helpful, are you? Nope. All right. Now that I've found where I put the video file,
have reviewed the exhibits that were submitted by both parties. And I know I did review the color photos as well that were submitted. But today I want you to describe what has happened as if I know nothing about the matter. And then if there's ways to point me in the right direction for exhibits that would help your argument, let me know. And so I'm going to request that all parties speak to me and not each other. Issues can get contentious, and I understand that there could be a history between the parties. Not saying there is in this case, but just in case there is, it's important to address everything towards me and not each other. So we are going to start with the plaintiffs, and since we have two plaintiffs listed, do either of you have a preference on who goes first? Or if one person is planning on speaking on behalf of both of you?
I can speak.
Okay, so before we get started, I am going to swear you in under penalty of perjury under oath. So can you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Heather Michelle Allawat, Allawat.
All right, and can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to provide today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Allawat, are you planning on speaking at all during this proceeding or providing testimony?
If there's like follow-up questions or any of that,
Okay.
yeah, totally.
One option is you can also tell Miss Heather or Miss Allawat what to say as well, and then she can provide that, or we can swear you in if there's something that you wish to add. So
Okay. We'll
if that's the
yeah.
case, I mean, I just asked that Miss Allawat be the one that's speaking right now, and if you have something to add, then we can swear you in and then
No
add.
problem.
So kind of keep things clean and moving forward. Okay. All right, so like I said, we are here to do the small claims, and Miss Allawat, why don't
You just ruined him for me. You guys want to know, like, what my type is. Garrett is like an 8.9 on the hotness scale. I'm not a big fan of his voice, but his looks, like, he's exactly what I go for. And now Eileen has just ruined him for me.
you start from the beginning, please?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So my husband Garrett and I rented road in Longview beginning August 2022 from Miss Burton, who managed the property remotely from out of state. Her ex-husband Eric let us in, but didn't provide a key, a walkthrough inspection, or a checklist. On January 17th, 2025, a fire occurred that made the home uninhabitable, and the fire marshal's investigation determined the fire was accidental and not due to any negligence on our part. After the fire, the home was uninhabitable, so we were staying in temporary housing. With Miss Burton's permission, we stored some belongings in the garage and on the deck, but the home itself had been emptied, so we were no longer living there. After the fire, Miss Burton initially told us she intended to repair the home so we could return. We cooperated fully, including meeting with contractors several times at her request. Also at her request, Garrett completed approximately 50 hours of repair work at an agreed rate of 25 per hour, which she later acknowledged in writing, but never paid. Over time, it became clear that repairs were not moving forward, communication broke down, and we made the decision to vacate. We fully removed our belongings by March 31st, 2025. I then sent a certified demand letter, which I included a copy of, requesting return of funds, which was received but never answered. We're seeking $3,100 in prepaid rent, $3,000 last month's rent, $1,500 security deposit, and $1,250 for unpaid labor, $60 and $16 in utility costs. Under Washington law, the deposit must be returned without a move-in checklist, and prepaid rent must be refunded when a home becomes uninhabitable through no fault of the tenant. We acted in good faith throughout, and the documentation we submitted supports our claim. And it's important to note that there are no photos, walkthrough, or any documentation showing the condition of the property at the time we moved in. And many of the photos in her evidence packet appear to show our belongings during the agreed upon storage period after the fire, when we were no longer living in the home, but still storing belongings there. And she was the last one to have dogs on the property. I also have time-stamped video from February 7th, 2025, showing the home clean and largely emptied of our belongings before her arrival, when she stayed there for a week. Additionally, she attributes issues like the rotted and unsafe deck to us, but those conditions existed before move-in and fall under owner maintenance, and her own photos reflect the extent of that deterioration.
Okay. So I forgot to mention as well that I may be, for both parties, that I may be interrupting you every once in a while to ask a few questions. Thank you for that concise summary. Just to follow up on a few things. So you guys moved in August 1st, 2022. You're saying there's no walkthrough, there's no, was there
Yeah.
a lease agreement?
There is a lease. I included
Okay.
the lease.
Perfect. Okay.
Garrett actually wrote the lease because he used to manage properties.
Okay. And I did. Okay. Yep. I do see that.
He also had to do some repairs before we were even able to move our family in.
Okay. And then, so you guys moved in and the fire was June of 2025. Is that what I heard?
I'm sorry, what?
The fire.
That was January.
January.
2025.
Sorry, I misheard. I heard June, so I just wanted to clarify that. So you had fire in the January of 2025. So you guys had been living there with relatively no issues from August to, okay.
Yeah.
But in regards to, I guess, what we're here today about, like the issue started happening in regards to the claim after the fire,
Yeah.
correct? Okay. So we're looking after the fire, and then you said, so the fire happened, the damage, then you were in temporary housing for how long?
I mean, we didn't ever move back into the home, so until
Was the plan always to move back?
yes,
Okay.
that's why he did the work. And that's why we had our belongings still stored there.
And the work that was done was after the fire, or was it
Yes.
before?
It was after.
Okay.
Well, the work to get it ready for us.
Habitable, yeah.
Mhm.
But you did work, because when you mentioned the lease agreement, you were talking about how you did work, that Garrett had done work
Yes.
before you guys moved in move in.
Yes.
Okay. And I do see some of the photos, because they are listed like 2022
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, and this is okay. So this is just to provide context about the work that you did in 2022. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
And
just
the state of the house that it was in, like when you guys moved in. Okay. I'm seeing Mr. Alawat nod his head yet. Miss and Heather, is that accurate as well?
yes.
Okay. And Mr. Alawat, I'm just gonna have you raise your right hand and swear you, just in case there is, that's fine. Do you solemnly swear? Oh, actually, what is your first name and spell your last name for the record?
Garrett, ALLAWATT.
Okay, and you have your right hand raised. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to get that out there just in case there was any times, because I did notice you were nodding your head because I'm talking about the photographs that you guys submitted as exhibits in regards to the 2022 work. And I'm seeing not part of a current claim included because Candy has tried to dispute it. So I see you're nodding your head yes, as in indicating
Yeah,
that.
I had to do, and I did all that work at no charge to her
Okay.
too, just to get our family moved in there. And that was a frequent thing there. Like I replaced the water heater there at no charge. You'll see even after the fire, we picked up a majority of the supplies using my military discount. Heather going to the store, not charging her for that. Like we were honestly trying to get back into the house. I
Right.
took a whole week off of work with Candy there to repair the house after the fire. And she had promised to pay me for that.
When was that? Was it right after the fire? So
Yeah, it wasn't right after. She was sending me to meet with a lot of contractors in between now and then, and she didn't like, I'm not sure what she didn't like about any of the contractors, but she decided not to use any of them and to just have her adult children do the work and have Garrett do the work as well. And
so these were like kind of
from-
somewhat informal agreements between people to do work, not like going through contractors. Okay.
yeah,
And she had, there's text messages in there where she had said that she would pay me
Right.
for that work, yeah.
Yep, totally formally informal work.
I can
And
find right now.
Your test, but you have never received payment for,
Nothing. She had said she would pay us back for the prepaid rent and then pay me for the work that I did, and hasn't given us anything.
okay. And I am showing some receipts of like, it looks like Venmo receipts kind of back and forth about
That's our
rent
rental,
as well as, it looks like she's paying you, so like
There was a
heating
couple-
duct supplies, for example,
Yep,
did
yep,
she?
for supplies, like I would go to Home Depot myself and buy them and then take a picture, send her the receipt, and she would
Okay.
pay for it back. And then I would do the work and put everything up.
I see, okay. And then you said you were buying this at your like military discount?
Yep,
Okay. And then I'm also showing some receipts from like Best Western. This is, you guys had a Airbnb. These are the temporary housing.
just showing that we were in
Okay.
temporary housing. Yep.
Okay. Like I said, I'm just kind of going through your exhibits, making sure I have the full picture and before we move on to Miss Burton.
Your
Uh,
Honor, the landlord had driven up and with her 3 big dogs and her adult daughter and stayed at the home from March 9th through March 17th when it was uninhabitable and to help Garrett do the work.
So, okay, and I'm working through that. So we have fire damage, but your claim is not necessary for the labor. Oh, it would be for the labor for the fire damage, right?
From the
Okay.
fire damage.
That was the $25 an hour for a total
Yep.
of $12.50.
Yep, and I took
Okay.
the whole week off, like PTO, to get this done.
And that was this March 9th through 17th, is that?
Yep, March 9th through
Okay,
17th. Yep.
perfect. Okay. Just gonna kind of link these in. Oops. Okay. And then so that was, and then you stated she stayed there?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
living there.
she was the last, like after the fire, we never spent another night in that house. She had stayed in that house, like while that work was getting done. They stayed in one of the rooms and would move rooms as we were painting them.
Had guests over daily.
Yeah,
with
and like
small
would have
children.
people over, like we were never there, like any, I mean, it's a mute point because there was no move-in inspection, so.
Sure, right. No, it's yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just
It's a moot point, sir. Moot. Moot. Not mute.
more of like clarifying kind of
Yep.
the individualized claims and the itemized. So I'm just trying to go down the
Yep.
list of things. So she said that she would pay you to do the 25. You guys agreed on the $25 an hour.
Yep.
And that was and I apologize, there's a lot, but there were text messages about that,
Yep,
correct?
there's text
Okay.
messages.
I
in
do
it.
recall seeing that. I'm just not able to.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
quite a bit.
Yeah, I do recall seeing that. I just wanted to confirm. So that was agreed upon amount and you have not paid it. Or she
Yep.
has not paid it, excuse me.
Yep,
Okay, and then let's see. So the fire was in January 2025 and you hadn't lived there.
the day of the fire was the last night we ever stayed in that house.
Okay. And then obviously you were forced to move out due to no fault of your own, right? There was a
Yep.
fire.
Yep.
And then so can you so security deposit is $1,500. Your argument is that according to statute, which is 59-18-260, the landlord may not retain any portion of the security deposit unless there's a written checklist or statement. So I got that one. Okay. So 31 days prepaid lease. So that was $3,100. The
Yep.
31 days was that so when you guys signed up, what did you pay
Yep.
first
So
and
we
last?
paid first, last deposit. And then we were in the habit of prepaying on rent. So we had also prepaid, and there are messages in there where she's like, I will pay you back for the amount that you've already prepaid.
And that was the 31 days prepaid lease, $3,100. Was that for
And we had, yeah, and we had already prepaid for what, 2/3 of the following month
Yeah,
of
that was the
February.
prepaid rent.
Yeah.
Let me grab.
Okay, so I have with the 31 days prepaid lease, so that's the $3,100. So
Yeah.
that was the and that was the full amount. So and then she said that she was going to repay that.
Yep.
And this was after the fire had happened.
Yeah, after the fire, she had said like, "Oh, I will pay you, out for what she owes us."
Okay. And
And
when did you guys pay the last month rent? Was that when you originally signed the
yeah,
lease in
yep,
2022?
yep.
Okay. And then The labor we have at $25 an hour for a total of $12.50. So the math, sorry, math is not my strong suit, but how many hours was that then? That you're
Like 50 hours. It was, you know,
yep.
I mean,
Okay.
probably more, but I'm calling it 50. So
I wish he would have kept a ledger of all of the hours that he spent putting work into this apartment or house or rental unit, whatever it is. I'm not exactly sure the layout of it, but if he had kept very specific hours, there'd be no way the landlord could dispute that at all. But I'm sure he never expected that he was going to have to take her to court for it. And that's the sucky part. Everybody make sure to hit the live button to make sure that you're current. Because sometimes it buffers in the beginning or a commercial will set you back. I don't run commercials through the stream, but YouTube sometimes puts them at the beginning. And I want you guys to be up current because your comments are the best part of the whole show.
Okay, you're estimating at this point.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely more. That's not including the hours I spent putting up the new air ducting. So that's just strictly when we were painting.
Yeah, that's 50 days. I had to bring out the calculator and all that.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then, so talk to me about this. So one of you talked to me about this $60.16 of utility charges.
So that's just what I had emailed PUD. I don't remember if I included a copy of that in my,
I don't recall seeing it, but it is possible it's in here. There's a lot of messages, so.
I do have it in an email. It's just from PUD stating, showing the amount of power that was used. And in her evidence packet, she had argued that I was using power for the chickens. I still had some chickens on the property, but they had like already full 5-gallon water jugs. I wasn't using the water from the well to water them. They had no heat out there. Like that didn't use up any electricity for.
Is this the what you were talking about? It's like the public PUD report
Yeah.
showing
Yep.
landlords' power
Yep.
consumption.
Yeah.
I have it. I was able to find it. So it is in here. So that's what you're saying. Let's see. So how did we get to the $60.16 number?
I had talked to them. I had talked to someone on the phone and they said that was approximately how much that, maybe they said it was exactly how much.
During that
For
period,
that kilowatts, for that time.
Okay.
period.
during the period when she was there.
Yeah, during March 9th through 17th.
March 9th through March 16th. And that's again when you guys were doing that work. But then that's
Yep.
when she was staying there.
Yeah, when she was there.
Yep.
Okay. And did you guys come to an agreement about who would be paying the cost of utilities?
No,
while
we
she was
just,
staying?
after this whole fallout happened, it was like, oh, well, I shouldn't have to pay the power bill to fix a place that I can't even stay in.
So when was the last time you paid the power bill? Was it like January? Like would you end your services or did Miss Burton take those over after you guys moved out due to
I
necessity?
think up until about that point, we were still paying for power at the property.
Well, we had paid the whole time and we closed it when it was like, hey, we're not moving back in here, then we
Yeah,
closed it out, but
it's-
we paid that entire time.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you were paying
March
for it
30th.
up until you guys decided not to move back into the house.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand. Okay. And then the last thing, oh no, we have the $550 for compensation for temporary housing. And that was the receipts that I saw that I referenced before
Yeah,
about.
I don't expect the landlord to cover everything, but since we were led to believe that we would be moving back in, we were under the impression we would be moving back in, and we incurred over $8,000 in temporary housing because temporary housing for a family of 8 is not cheap. So that's not very much in comparison. It's like, this is a huge loss for us. No matter what happens,
And so when did you did you provide written notice to the landlord to terminate the agreement?
to
To terminate the lease agreement.
Well, that certified letter that I had sent out was notifying her that we left on, I think it was March 31st. Yeah, it was March 31st.
And that was your intent, and that's when you notified her that your intent was not to move back at that point?
Yeah, I mean, it became a little bit chaotic near the end there. It was a very stressful time, so I don't recall whether she or Garrett. It was more of a back and forth.
Okay.
We had decided.
Yeah, it was, well, what had happened was I was like, hey, I'll take another week off and we can start doing the floors. And then she was like, oh, we're gonna do that like months down the line. Like, and I was like, I just took a whole week off of work, helped you nonstop, got all the supplies together, and now you're telling me, oh, wait, hold on, stop working, and I'm gonna, do this months later, and it's like, oh, well, we're in temporary housing. Shouldn't we, like extremely frustrating, after I had done all that to try to get us back in. And then she's like, out of nowhere, oh, I'm gonna do it in a couple months,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and like we're in temporary, it's like every week is a new thing, and
Yeah.
it's like my kids need stability, and like we really wanted to go back and live there.
So how did you get to the $550 amount? If it was a lot more than that?
Well,
Because the maximum for small claims is 10,000. I wanted to keep it under that, and it just seemed it doesn't cover everything, but it's
Sure.
something.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify because the receipts you provided are obviously substantially more than what you're asking
yeah,
for. So I
yeah,
wanted to
there's just
clarify
something,
that
and it's
distinction.
more about, hey, that week that I'm up there working,
I see. Mhm.
like, and then all of a sudden you pull the rug, it's like, well, that's not earnest, and I'm paying for something for that week, and then
Yeah.
to pull, it's like that's another week accrued on me, where if I would have known, hey, flooring's not getting done for months, then I would have, this whole thing, I wouldn't have taken a week off. I would have ended, would have just walked away right then if she was like, oh yeah, we're not going to do the work for 6 months. Like, I'm not going to do temporary housing. Like, she's like, no, I'm going to try to help you get in there quicker. But like, it was not, she can say one thing, but like, what is she doing? That's totally different.
Okay.
I also wanted to mention, if I can, that
Yeah.
the photos she provided are very misleading. She was the last one to have dogs in the property. I know there's a picture of dog poop, and there's a room with shelves knocked down, a picture of that. In the video walkthrough that I have, I'm not sure how I would show that to you. If I can figure out how to do a shared screen thing, or if I can email it to you real quick, then you could look at that walkthrough, and it shows that same room, very orderly. And it was during her stay when she took those pictures, I think, or after, I don't know. But when we had cleared our things out of the home, it did not look like that. And I believe the pictures she provided of the outside was when our things were there, when we were displaced. So it's unfair. It just feels very misleading to take photos of our belongings that were there during that time period when we were supposed to have been moved back in. There's no fencing on the property anymore. We rolled that up. That's over at the neighbor is storing it for us. The
Okay.
fence rolls, like we didn't leave.
And since we've now gotten permanent housing, our own house in Woodland, we've also like been bringing, our materials back to build our new chicken coop. And
Right.
So I just wanted to mention that her photos are very misleading, and she had also mentioned that we were responsible for the fire and that we tampered with the scene, and that is not true.
Okay, yeah, we're not talking about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's not gonna be litigated today.
Yep.
So
Yep, doesn't even matter.
yeah, so we are here for the small claims. that you have risen. And then, so I'm going to shift to Ms. Burton, and then, since you are the plaintiffs, I will give you a chance to offer any rebuttal testimony after Ms. Burton has a chance to speak. So right now I am going to turn my attention, and I'm going to ask the Alawats to please mute yourself while Ms. Burton speaks. Thank you. And Ms. Burton, can you please unmute yourself? Good afternoon, Ms. Burton.
Hey, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Can you please state your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Candy Joy Burton, Burton.
Okay, and so I've had a chance again to review the exhibits provided by you, but please walk me through from the beginning and what you would like me to hear. And I may, again, maybe interrupting you to ask some questions along the way, so bear with me.
Okay. Okay, so I found this family to rent to, and they were very interested in moving to my home. I told them the home was available, but there was some plumbing work that needed to be done. The upstairs bathroom is above the main floor bathroom, and the main floor bathroom, there had been water leaking from the upper bathroom into the bathtub on the main floor. So we had the drywall removed so that it would like not get mildew and that. So I told him we need to have a plumber come in. We need to figure out where the leak is, and then we need to have it re-drywalled. So he said, "Oh, well, I can do that because I've done that kind of stuff with my parents' apartments." And so he said that he wanted to do it so that the house would be available so his family could move in it. I said, "Okay, if you want to do that." And then I said, "But I don't think it's just a simple leak of a pipe. I think you might need to go up to the top shower. We might need to regrout it. We might need to take the tile on the bottom of the shower out. It might need to be redone. I think the leak is more serious than just a leaking pipe." He said, "Oh, I've got it. I've got it. I know how to do this stuff. Don't worry." So supposedly he fixed the leak and put the drywall up. He had his brother living with him, and so that main floor was just had a bathtub in it, and it didn't have anything in the bathroom to use the bathtub as a shower. But they wanted to use it as a shower because they had a large family and his brother there. I said, "You can use that as a shower if you put up a shower curtain rod and you also put something up on the wall, the plastic backing, tile, whatever you would put up, like a tub surround to protect the wall."
What does any of this have to do with the fact that there was a fire in another room and they were displaced from your rental property for a significant time? Like, this doesn't make sense at this point, ma'am.
From getting damaged when the shower water hits it. Okay, they didn't send me any pictures of the work that was completed. They didn't send me any receipts from any expenses. Now, usually our agreement was that he would just do the work as part of living there, like homeowner helping or tenant helping with repairs, and I would just reimburse him for the supplies. That work was supposed to be done as part of the last month's rent payment, but we would figure that out once we knew what receipts that were submitted to me. So no receipts were submitted to me. So I don't know how much he wants to apply toward the last month's rent. But he had paid he had paid $750 for last month's rent. And then he paid an additional $750 to go toward last rent. That would be a total of $1,500. But the balance of the last month's rent, which they're saying was paid in advance, that second half, which would be the $1,500. Again, they've never showed me any receipts for the work that they did.
Do you have
And
an agreement, like a written agreement about this?
no,
The pay reimbursement for parts being
no,
taken out of the
it
last
was,
month's rent?
we might have it in a text message only, but
Do
the
you,
problem,
well, do you do you have that text message?
I don't believe I do, but
Okay.
so I only have we only have the receipt showing that they paid $1,500. But they're claiming that they did this bathroom work. When I came back to the house, when I could get into it after the fire, I walked in there and there's this big hole in the ceiling above the bathtub where water's leaking. I said, water's leaking from upstairs. The problem didn't get fixed. He said, oh, I fixed that problem. That's another one. Okay, well, one, I don't know that it was ever fixed correctly because I never saw pictures of it fixed correctly. And two, if you're living somewhere and there's a problem like a leak, you would let your landlord know that there's a problem so that it could get fixed, because the problem with it leaking is all that drywall that he put up had to be taken down because there was mold on it. I had to go upstairs. There was mildew upstairs because the work wasn't done properly. There was mildew under the shower and around the shower upstairs, as well as downstairs. I had to pull the showers out. I had to pull the tile out. There was mold under the tile on the flooring. There was mold behind the toilet on the main floor. Just there was so much mold work done because the work wasn't done correctly. He did put up a shower, or somebody put up a shower bar, or a shower curtain bar, but nobody ever covered the drywall. So there's pictures showing that the water hit the drywall, and the water there turns stuff orange, and so you could see the wall as like orange rather than white. So that means that all has to be fixed. So again, he may be asking for money or reimbursement for supplies, but the job wasn't done right. Okay, so that's has to do with the first month's rent. Okay, then there was a fire, like they've mentioned, and in the report it says, hold on just a minute, let me bring it up so I could read it.
Is the fire report admitted, or is it part of your exhibits?
Yes, I believe so. Okay, so wait, where did he send that? Oh, Julius, sorry. I just want to read this one part. It says,
I don't know if I have the report. One moment, let me just
it's page
verify.
13.
Page 12.
Okay, it says examination analysis of the room of the origin disclosed matters mass loss of wood flooring, which further indicates the fire originated at the east side of the room and extended upward and outward. The remains and contents and partial finishing materials from the room of the fire origin were confirmed to have been removed prior to our scene of examination. Examination processing analysis of the remains said electrical replacement disclosed. Okay, that goes on to say, basically what the report is
Ma'am,
saying
you've
is
given me like 5 pages out of 16 of this fire report.
I try to
So it's
give you the
really,
pertinent.
it's really difficult to, I guess, get context because we usually like to have the whole thing.
You just lost all credibility. Yeah. You don't just provide a third of an official document to the court and then cherry pick out the phrases that you want paid attention to. No, you provide the entire thing and then make reference to what points you want noticed, but the judge still has the opportunity of seeing the full context. That's how it works. She is so shady. I don't believe a word that she raspily utters.
Sorry, I would have included it later because we thought it got sent, but somehow it wasn't sent.
Okay, so,
But they're basically saying the fire didn't start because of electrical in the house. It didn't start from electricity. It happened from something in the house. When I talked to the fire inspector, they said it started from either an overload of a surge protector or something in the middle of the room, like an oil lamp. The bottom of page 16 shows where they're showing. Okay,
bottom of page 16.
hold on. Is this? Oh wait, hold on. This might be. What page is this one right here?
12.
Page 12. Okay, it says examination, processing, analysis of the remains of the said electrical receptacle disclosed superficial damage to electrical activity or damage to the interior of the receptacle. The remains of structural conductors, conduct insulation, and plastic twist connector points were identified to be intact. Analysis of surrounding structural and insulation materials disclosed no physical evidence of the extension of fire from the area of the said electrical receptacles. Anyway, they're saying the fire started in the middle of the room. So anyway,
Didn't it say it originated at the east side of the room and extended upward and outward?
yeah.
So wouldn't that
And you can see by the pictures, the darkness
towards
is
the
in
wall though, right?
No, it's in the darkness, the blackest part in the pictures in the middle of the room. And they're showing electrical plugs, like the electrical plug is melted on the outside, but when you take it down, the backside is not melted. The insulation is not melted. So they're showing it didn't come from at the wall.
That doesn't mean that it didn't originate due to the wiring. Let's say the covering was chewed off by a rodent, the plastic coating that covers the wires, and it was touching the insulation underneath the floor. I mean, the wires run under the floors and in between the walls, and just, it does. I understand it didn't happen at the electrical outlet itself, but that doesn't mean that it being a wiring issue when you had to rewire your entire house is off the table.
It came from the middle of the room.
The problem is when you've submitted this report, you haven't submitted any conclusory statements that they make in that report. Like, what is their conclusion of that? The problem is I don't have enough context.
Where
I don't know if this has necessarily, I guess, what does this have to do with the claim against you? Is it for the repairs itself? Is it for all of it? Are you just claiming that they started this fire so they don't get any of their money back that you said you would repay them back?
Well, in the rental contract, it says that if there was a fire that started, even if it was by their negligence, that they would be responsible for repairs and for lost income on my part. I didn't even ask for that because there was just so many problems.
One second. I'm going to pull up the rental lease agreement.
Okay. It's in section, let's see, let's see, that would be 6, what's L, 10 LV1 or XLV1. On page 8 of 11.
All right. Let's see. Some guess if fire protection evacuation on the start of the lease term, the landlord must provide send a copy of the fact. Okay, so if the premises is deemed uninhabitable due to damage beyond reasonable repair, the tenant will be able to terminate this agreement by written notice to the landlord. If said damage was due to the negligence of the tenant shall be liable to the landlord for all repairs. The problem is the report doesn't indicate that they are negligent. You don't have the, I
Um,
don't have the full report in front of me. I have indications of what it potentially could be, and there's a few different possibilities, it looks like.
I know that one of the 3 things on the report that you have says that page 15. On page 15, it says, due to the removal and disposal of contents furnishing, which was done by the Alawats, and partial finishing materials, an exact point of origin could not be determined at the time of our examination.
So it cannot be pinpointed.
No, but the fact that they removed evidence,
They,
not
but-
only did they remove the evidence, they got a big dumpster because that's how much they cleared out of like
So
the
is-
insulation, the drywall and stuff.
So if somebody's house, I'm assuming a lot of things got damaged in the fire as well. Are they not supposed to clear things, like clear their stuff out?
It's illegal to have anything removed or tampered with before the fire captain inspects it, and they have to have a fire
But it looks like they
investigator come. And that's
did.
that's why the fire investigator is saying everything was removed before. Let me
But
show you.
that's. One second.
So you could see this in your pictures here, but you
I-
could see the insulation, the drywalls there. You could see on the floor where it's black, the black dark spot is in the middle of the floor. And that's what they're saying. Something was in the middle of the floor. They're showing the electrical work that it didn't start from the electricity on the outside of the wall. This picture here with the melted electrical outlet. Examination, processing, analysis of the remains of the electrical receptacle identified at the northeast portion of the north wall of the room of fire origin disclosed a totality
Totality of damage, which
Totality of
indicates the
damage.
fire extended to the exterior front of said damage. So the way I read that is the analysis of the remains of the electrical receptacle identified at that portion of the wall disclosed the damage that moved it to the outside. And it was the remains of such device were considered and had to be eliminated as a possible source of heat ignition for this fire incident. So they said that that is eliminated as a source of, and it says due to the removal and disposal of contents, furnishing and partial finishing materials, an exact point of origin could not be determined at the time of our examination. So I don't have there's no negligence finding in the report that you've submitted to me. Because I only have about 5 pages. I don't know what the other pages. Okay, you're muted, Miss Burton.
But Your Honor, she wants you to infer that there is a negligence finding because it doesn't say there's one. That doesn't mean that you can't just determine it, right? Right? No? That's not how that works? Oh. She thought she had that figured out.
Sorry, I saw you
Sorry.
with your
Sorry.
hands, and I wanted to make sure I saw you talking. So,
Okay, so the fire, it said it moved to the outside of the wall, so it moved toward that plug. It moved to the outside
well,
doors.
fires do move. That's how they fire spread.
That's
So,
where
okay,
it's-
let's get, okay, so I don't want to get too much into the weeds
Okay.
here because I understand what you're trying to say that they are negligent for the fire or that there was I just don't have any finding that they were negligent for the fire. And so right now, under the lease agreement that we do have, what that doesn't, that section does not apply. It would be if the premises are deemed uninhabitable, the tenant has the right to terminate this agreement by written notice, which they did. And I believe
Okay.
April 2nd was the letter that I saw, the certified
Okay.
letter.
Right, okay, so.
So and so to go to, let's see. So the fire happens. And it happens in January. And then so March 9th through 17th. That's when Mr. Alawat did the repairs and you were living there?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's when we finally got some of the claim from the from the insurance company. Mr. Oliver said that he offered to help with the repairs if that would help him get into the house sooner.
Because they still wanted to live there, right?
Right. So I said that I was coming up with my daughter and we were going to do the painting. And he was aware of that. He said, okay. And then he texted me and said, are you on your way? Are you coming? And I also said, now you don't have a problem with us staying in this house while we do the work. He didn't have a problem with it. Of course, he's moved out of the house and I'm the owner. So I don't believe that that's an issue. Anyway, so we go up there and we paint. Now there's some wallpaper. Mr. Oliver says, we need to take this wallpaper down. So my daughter and I took the wallpaper down. Then when the wallpaper down, he said, oh, well, it needs texturing on the wall. I said, okay, well, if you want texturing on the wall, that makes you happy. We want you to be happy because you guys are going to move back in here. So while my daughter and I proceeded to paint the entire house from a base coat and then a top coat, he went in and he textured the landing upstairs or hallway, and he went into the master bedroom. Now in the master bedroom, the wallpaper was only on the bottom half of the wall, which we removed. So he textured that bottom half. I said, well, this doesn't look professional. It doesn't look normal. You don't just texture a bottom half of the wall. We need to do the whole wall. So he said, okay, I'll do the whole wall. Now I've sent you colored pictures to see, so you can see that the texturing is very different from one area of the wall to another. It's not consistent. It doesn't look professional. Some areas don't even have texturing on it.
So I apologize to interrupt.
It's okay.
Did you agree with Mr. Alawat to pay him $25 an hour to help you repair during that week?
No.
It's not, but it's in the text messages.
No, he first offered to help. I told him, don't take any time off work to help. I can't afford to pay you. You have a good job, a good paying job. I can't pay you your salary. If he wants to help on the weekends or in the evenings and he wants to help, that's fine. Then he comes back later and says, oh, well, I can't help you unless you compensate me. I said, well, I can compensate you. I never agreed to how much at all. But I asked him, if you want me to pay you, then I need you to give me a form, a bill showing what work you have done and how many hours you spent. Now, so back up a minute, before Julie and I got up there to paint, he said, oh, well, we're going to have to run the furnace if we paint. So he's going to hook up the heating ducts. He only hooked up one run of the heating duct. It was connected with duct tape. It was connected with coat hanger wire. It wasn't done professionally. It wasn't done with the heat resistant silver. Look, it looks like duct tape, but it's silver heat resistant. So he didn't hook it up professionally.
Ma'am, it's not duct tape. It is duct tape for duct repair work. Duct work. Professionals also use duct tape. Just in case you didn't know.
Did you hire him professionally?
No, I did not.
Okay, so is there any written agreement? Is there any?
No, but I'm
anything?
not. No, but what I'm saying, all I'm saying is that I'm not going to pay him a professional rate if he's not going to give me a professional job.
Is $25 an hour professional rate?
Well, the professional that I had to do other work, I was only paying $20 an hour.
That's like through a contractor? Or is it somebody more of an informal agreement again?
He's
and so I see you looking over to someone. I just don't know who
Yeah.
that is, and if they're a party to the case, I just can't have like them. I can hear
Okay,
what they're
sorry.
saying. I just need to have you be the one
yeah.
talking.
I found him at the Home Depot parking lot, Your Honor.
He's, I don't know, he's just a guy that does handyman type work,
Like you could
subcontractor,
find him on
whatever.
Google or something like that, a contractor.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And so you
Um,
paid him $20 an hour.
Yeah. But again, one of my points is that he only hung up one row of ductwork, which was probably maybe like 6 feet. I reimbursed him for the supplies. I don't think that his time took that long to hang it up. But then the thing is the whole week that my daughter and I were there, he only textured this upstairs small hallway and the master bedroom and painted it with only the primer coat of paint. And he's saying it took him 50 hours, where my daughter and I, we painted the whole rest of the house 2 coats of paint. And I'm saying, again, if you want to be paid, that's one thing, but I don't think it took you 50 hours to do one room. Okay, first of all, we were there. He was not there 50 hours. A lot of the time he was there, he was out in his car. My daughter's friend from Oregon came up and was like, who's this guy that's sitting in his car? He was in his car a lot, but we didn't complain. That's his choice. All I'm saying is that he was not in the house working for 50 hours.
So, but okay, so were your daughter and you staying there?
Yeah, we just stayed.
You just said that I asked you when you were staying there. You told me no. So
Well,
I'm just confused. You were staying there that week?
That week we were, but we weren't staying there from the fire up until that time.
No, I asked you just for that
Oh.
week where he was repairing it, the March 9th through the 17th, you were staying there.
Yeah, we were there.
And and so you were sleeping there?
Yes.
Okay, and using power there?
Well,
If you're staying there, I'm assuming you're using power.
Well, I don't need
Lights.
electricity to sleep.
Okay, so there was no
There's a
electricity
lot of
usage. There's no electricity usage from that time period?
Well, there is minimal electricity usage. We didn't
Okay.
use a refrigerator. We didn't use a stove. We were painting during the day. There's windows all around the house, so there's lots of sunlight that comes in. So,
Okay.
yes, we did use some power.
Okay.
They did have a heat lamps out to their chickens.
Okay.
Let's see. I did ask a contractor, and the contractor said the work that he did would take less than 1 day to do. A normal day's work is 8 hours, not 50 hours.
So, okay. Just to kind of back up from the get-go, we have the lease agreement. Was there a walkthrough done with a walkthrough checklist that was provided to the tenants?
No, there was, it says in the contract. Okay, also my son just handed me the text messages from Garrett and me, and he is saying in the text messages that the washing and going rate is $20 an hour.
Okay.
So I don't know where.
Let's go back to the lease agreement, please.
Okay, sorry.
So I asked you if you had a written checklist walkthrough that you guys went through with the tenant and that everybody signed off on, and that was provided to all parties as part of the lease agreement.
Hold on just a minute, I'm getting it. Hey, page 5 of 11 of the contract, XXV. Possession. Tenant has examined the condition of the premises by taking possession, acknowledges that they have accepted the premises in good order and in current condition, except as here and otherwise stated. So what this is saying is that they walked through it by signing this lease. They're saying the house was in good condition. We didn't need to have a checklist. I didn't need to be there. They agreed that it was in good condition. It would be.
One moment, please. I'm just reviewing the language of the lease agreement.
Give me that pep right there.
Okay, I'm just checking the security deposit section of the lease agreement, where the agreement was the amount of $1,500 security deposit. And then we have possession section under section 25, the tenant has examined the condition of the premises and by taking possession acknowledge that they have accepted the premises in good order, except as here and otherwise stated. But that's just as is for the moment. Is there any language in the lease agreement about the terms and which, or the terms and conditions under which the deposit or portion thereof may be withheld by the landlord? If you can point that out to me.
I will have to look into that and see.
Because
I
I
want-
don't really, let's see, if the landlord process receipt to the tenant with information about the banking institution. It just talks about, and I guess early termination, abandonment. And I don't know if I see anything in the lease agreement regarding the lead-based paint. There we go. Okay. I don't see anything in regards to that is in writing that includes the terms and conditions under which the deposit or portion thereof may be withheld by you under termination of the lease or rental agreement.
Okay, I want to move to a different section if I can, and then come back to this, and you'll understand why I'm doing that.
Oh, I'm just asking, can you point to the written? This is your lease agreement, you're the landlord. Can you point to the terms and conditions under which the deposit or portion thereof may be withheld by you?
My understanding is, my son's looking that to see if he can have that for me, but my understanding is when they move out, we'll say traditionally speaking, I would go and give them a list and tell them what I would be holding things for.
Okay, and traditionally is not in writing.
Right.
But so the statute 5918.260, RCW 5918.260 does require that. So if any monies are paid to the landlord by the tenant as a deposit or as security for performance of the tenant's obligation in a lease or rental agreement, the lease or rental agreement shall be in writing, which we have, and shall, meaning it must be in there, include the terms and conditions under which the deposit or portion thereof may be withheld. So that's like not just returning the security deposit at the end of the lease, it is I'm withholding some, and what are the terms of that? And that is required in the rental agreement. So I'm asking you, in the rental agreement, where is that specific language with the terms and conditions of where you as the landlord would be able to withhold a portion or all of the security deposit?
They're looking that up right now. There is also,
And and also, do you have a written checklist? At
No,
all?
there's
Because
no
it does,
checklist.
this statute also states no deposit may be collected by a landlord unless the rental agreement is in writing and a written checklist or statement is provided by the landlord. So it does, okay, so it does kind of talk about that a little bit. It's a
vague or something. And
so
see,
it,
I just went with the rental contract that Garrett provided since his family has.
I understand that, but that the thing is you entered into this contract.
Right,
I
right.
realize he drafted it, but you signed it and agreed to the terms of that contract.
Yes. One of the things that I think they mentioned is there's some law that says that within 30 days, I'm supposed to tell them if I want to keep stuff and why I want to keep that. But I want to explain why that was not done.
Can we still answer my question? I don't want to move on and then come back to this, so we're gonna talk about this right now. And just to be clear, I do think that there is the language in the lease agreement that is sufficient for you to collect the deposit. However, I'm not seeing anything, unless you can point me to it, that is showing that there is specific language that is required to include the terms and conditions under which you can retain a portion or all of the security deposit.
Say that one more time.
So I do think that you are able, according to this statute, you are able, based on the lease agreement, to collect a security deposit because there's a statement provided that you guys both worked out. Again, that is that section that we talked about in the lease agreement. However, I'm not seeing anything in the lease agreement that includes the terms and conditions under which you can retain and keep that security deposit. I'm asking you, where is the language in that lease agreement? Because I'm not seeing it. And that's required under the statute for you to withhold the security deposit.
The security deposit shall not be credited toward any rent unless landlord gives their written consent. After the landlord deposits security deposit, the landlord must provide a receipt to the tenant with information
Correct.
about the
This is
name
not
and address.
that's not
Okay.
that is not withholding the security deposit. There's no, you have to inform the tenant the reasons, you have to give them a clear reason, like reasons why you would be withholding the security deposit. That's damage beyond the normal wear and tear, right? The same things that I'm sure you're used to seeing, right? But there's nothing in that lease agreement with that language. So according to the statute, from what I am seeing, I'm trying to determine what are the terms that you're saying, because you're saying they're there, but I don't see them.
Okay, I'm a new landlord. I haven't done this before, so I lack experience. I know that is not in my favor. My understanding was that you have the security deposit, and when they move out, that is when you would provide them with a list, and you would say, I am keeping the security deposit because of such and such reasons.
Do you have that list?
No,
Why
I
you were
don't.
keeping the security deposit?
No, that's what one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, but you were telling me to wait.
Oh, well, because you were trying to move on from my question that
Okay.
I needed answered
Well,
before we get to this. So I have to get one before we go to the next. So, okay, let's move
Okay.
on. So we don't have the terms in there. So
Okay.
now under your traditional understanding, your traditional practice, I guess, is to go through a checklist at move out. Is that accurate? And then do you tell them
no.
why you're retaining portion or
Well,
all of their security deposit?
okay. My understanding is that I would give them a list of what I was keeping, what problems there were, and why I was keeping the security deposit. The reason that that was not provided was because they were only moving out temporarily. They were moving back in.
What about when you received the certified letters, they wanting to terminate the lease agreement?
Well, they sent me a letter threatening and asking me for money. But in our rental contract, it says that we will try to work together in good faith without using any litigation.
Okay.
So to me, I define that as meaning we're not going to go to court. We're not going to send nasty letters to each other. We're going to get together and we're going to talk about this.
So but they left the residence because it was deemed uninhabitable, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so then that triggers the condition in your lease agreement under XLVI, premises deemed uninhabitable, saying the tenant has the right to terminate this agreement by written notice to the landlord, which they did. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so at that point, once you knew that they were not moving back into the residence, did you go through the checklist with them and talk about why you were retaining their security deposit?
Okay.
I mean, yes or no?
Okay, no, but I would like
Okay.
to explain the situation.
Okay, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
I'm here to listen to you. I'm here
Okay,
to do
thank
that.
you.
I have to ask questions because I have to
Yeah.
make a
No, I
ruling.
appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so what happened is their intention was they were going to move back in. We came up, we did the painting. There was some disagreement on the painting. But what happened was he wanted to get the process moving. So since the flooring was done, he wanted to get the flooring done. He wanted to help with that. I told him, no, we can't do that right now because the painting took longer than we expected. It took the full week. And we had to drive back to Utah where I live. But now here's the situation. Sorry, I got a bad cold. One of the workers or contractors that we had come out to give a bid was the electrician. This was someone that Garrett had recommended or wanted. I don't know which one of us got the person to come out originally to give the bid, but Garrett said, yeah, this is a guy, hire this guy. So we said, okay. So while I'm there, at the end of the week, I'm talking to the electrician, and the electrician is saying to me, he's giving me a bid for the work just in the area of the house that caught on fire. That's what the insurance company had approved to have done. But the electrician said, you need your whole house wired. We need to rewire it over. The house is old, the wiring is old, to bring it up to code for the new circuit breaker, whatever. And electrical lingo, he said the whole house had to be rewired. I said, oh, okay, let me look into this more. I said to the electrician, the insurance company has given me approximately $2,500 for electrical work. Or in that, wiring the whole house is going to be approximately $30,000. Just like them, I have 7 kids. I don't have an extra $28,000 floating around to rewire this house. So I said, first, number one, we need to go and get a bid or a couple bids. We need to present them to the insurance company and go through the process of getting the full wiring approved. Now, just to know, that did not get approved by my insurance company until December.
What's that you say? Mysterious house fire? And you have to get all of the wiring replaced in the house because something was wrong with it? But you wanted to hold on to that card, the 5 of 16 pages that you presented, to try to say that it was the tenant's fault that the fire was caused. Hearing that you needed all new wiring throughout your house, I don't think it was their fault, ma'am. I don't think you can pin this on them. Oh, Billy, you can't sit on that.
Of 2025. I just got the check in January of 2026. That's how long it takes for things to happen. Okay, but in the meantime, Garrett is asking if we can get this flooring done. I'm driving in the car. You could see the text messages he's sending me. I said, you know what? This is putting my family in a bind just as much as yours, because I'm not collecting rent on this place to make a mortgage payment. There's repairs that are costing more than what the insurance is approving, but there's no way I can put flooring in there if they're going to rewire the whole house. If they're going to rewire the whole house, they're going to be cutting into drywall that I just painted, that I would not have painted if I knew that had to be done. I said, they're going to cut into the drywall to do the electrical work. We're going to have to repair the drywall. We're going to have to paint the drywall. Once that's done, then we'll work on the flooring. But there's no way that we're going to do the flooring first. He says, well, I already took a week off work. I said, Garrett, I never asked you to take off a week off work. I never agreed that I would pay you if you took a week off work. I know that you want to get this done, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you want to help. He said, oh, I'm going to get my dad and my brothers and my friends all in here helping. We're just going to do this. Like, we're donating our time. I said, dude, I can't okay for you to volunteer these friends of yours that they're donating their time for free. And I don't have the money to pay them. Now I can have my kids lay the flooring. They're young adults. They can lay the flooring. And my kids, I can say, guys, I can't afford to pay you. You're just going to have to help mom out. We're going to lay this flooring for free. But I can't go and have Garrett and his family or friends, brothers, dad, co-workers, whoever, help lay this flooring for free. I said, no, Garrett, we can't do that. But bottom line is, we can't do it because electrical was done. He texted me over and over for hours, telling me what a terrible person I was, how awful I was, all these negative things. I said, Garrett, I can't take this. You can't text me anymore. I'm sorry, but we have to get the electrical work done first. So he goes, that's it. I'm moving out. I said, he had just said that it was no stress if the work wasn't done right away because they had just paid another month's rent in their Airbnb. I say, I'm sorry if you have to do that. If this work isn't getting done soon enough, you can find a new place to live. You don't have to live in a hotel. You don't have to live in an Airbnb. That's your choice if you want to do that. That's your choice if you want to wait until this house is repaired. But I can't do any work until the electrician okays his work. So anyway, he's mad. He's yelling at me, swearing at me, negative talk, says he wants to move out. I said, okay, that's fine if you want to move out. He goes, well, you owe me money back. I said, look, if you move out, that's fine. But you have chickens here. You've had a dog here in the garage. You have a you have stuff all over this house. They stored a Suburban there. They stored a camping trailer there. They stored a utility trailer there. They had a whole 2-car garage full of stuff. They had stuff all over the deck as well as all around the house. They had bicycles there. So they had all this stuff there.
Okay,
said,
did you allow them to store their stuff there?
I
while
said,
they were-
if you are going to help with the work and move back in, then you can store the stuff there. But
Okay.
if you're not going to move back in, then you have to pay rent just like you would anywhere else.
Well, you can't pay rent on places he can't live in.
But
They're
you
not-
would pay a storage unit if you had
But-
stuff in a garage.
But do you
You
have
would-
do you have anything in writing? That's these things are all done. We have a lease agreement. You have kind of informal agreements between parties, and then now we have this work being done.
I can't stand it. Oh my god, she keeps wiping her nose, coughing into the Kleenex, and then rubbing her eyes with that same Kleenex. Ma'am. Ma'am, that's how you get sick and stay sick. Stop it. Please stop it. You're gross. And you're a liar. I don't believe a thing you're saying. And you're gross.
I'm just trying to understand because it's so you're saying there's a dog in the garage. Did you have dogs with you when you were staying during that week when you were repairing the house?
Yes, we brought our dogs too. He knew they were coming.
So was his dog there during that week then?
Once we got there, no, he took them.
Oh, okay. And the dog never came back after that?
When I was there during that time, no, but I don't know when I was not there.
Well,
I know the
they
chickens
wanted to move out pretty much right after that, right? Right after kind of that repair week. It's kind of right around there where things kind of blew up, it sounds like. The
Yeah,
relationship kind of blew up.
Yeah, it was like a week or two later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but
But-
they never came back to the residence after that. And
not
the photographs
to
that
my
the
knowledge.
photographs that you provided with like the dog poop when were those pictures taken?
Those pictures were taken when we came back in August.
In August.
Yes.
So, but your dogs were the last one to be in the house. Did you not see it? Did you not see
Our
that?
our dogs poop. They go out into the field. It's in the rainforest. They go
But
out
you
in the
did,
field.
but why wasn't that pointed out then? I guess when he was there working on the house, wouldn't you have been like, "Hey, can you clean up your dog's poop while you're here?"
It wasn't there when we were there.
Manny, y'all got rainforests in Washington? I never knew.
That's why I don't know if he came back.
But you're saying that he did. That's why you're submitting these photos. The damage of the wear and tear of the unit. That's what I'm just trying to understand.
That's why I believe that they came back after we were there, whether he stayed there or the dogs were just there when they were moving their stuff out or whatever.
So after they had already told you that they didn't want to live there anymore, you're saying they came back?
Well, they had to move out.
Correct?
So the time when they said that and when they moved out,
Okay. But they weren't staying there. They were moving their stuff out.
no, I think Garrett may have stayed there some of the time
Okay.
after the fire happened.
And the house was pretty, I mean, it was deemed uninhabitable, correct? Like it is. The fire damage was like no person should be living here.
Well,
I mean, that's what the
Not-
fire
not
report said.
there's like an
Okay.
L-shaped room where the fire was. The rest of the house was just smoke damage. But the company had come in and cleaned from the smoke damage. They
Okay.
washed it all down. They pulled out the flooring So the house was, if you want to say livable, but we had to go back in and we had to paint it. We had to paint it with a blitz paint.
But
We
the
had to paint
electrical still needed to be fixed, right? Like that room was
Only-
completely unusable.
only in the L-shaped room where the fire was.
So when somebody is renting a house or renting anything or property, they're entitled to the use of the entirety of that premises. So by that room being uninhabitable, that creates an uninhabitable living space.
Right, in that area of the house, yes.
No, just the whole house. Because if you can't enjoy so this property was deemed uninhabitable. So that according to the lease agreement, the Alawats
Yes.
have the right to terminate
Yes,
the lease
yes,
agreement, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we have that, we're in agreement there. They have a
Yes.
right to terminate, so they notified
Yes.
you that they were terminating their lease agreement.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
and then, okay,
But between when they stopped paying rent
because
and when,
were you
sorry.
expecting them to pay rent for the time that they couldn't live in their unit?
no, I'm not expecting them to pay rent.
I actually do think they paid some rent because they prepaid into February, so they were actually paying some rent into an uninhabitable house.
Yes,
Okay,
but I'm not asking them to pay rent.
but you just said they're during the time period where they weren't paying you rent. I'm just trying to, this is what you're saying, I'm just trying to understand, Ms. Burton.
Okay, while they were not paying housing, living rent,
While they were unable to live in the house
Yes,
that they were
yes,
renting from
yes.
you, yes?
yes, they were using part of my property for their chickens.
Okay,
They were using a 2-car garage as a storage unit for their belongings.
had they terminated the lease agreement at that point?
No,
Okay, so when they terminated the lease agreement, did they remove all their stuff?
the majority of the stuff, yes, they removed.
Okay, but it's
But-
cleared, like it was, their stuff was gone, they moved out.
Well, they had moved the stuff that was like on the deck. They had moved the stuff that was on the driveway.
Okay,
They had
did
moved
they move
stuff
all
in
of
the
their
garage.
stuff out? I don't know if that's simplified. Okay,
No, they did not.
what was their stuff that was left, and I guess there's nothing, is there anything in the lease agreement that discusses what, if there's any removal fees that you have to do, if there's anything left, like what is,
No, there's probably not.
okay,
Oh, I guess my son said there is. He'll find those. But what my point is that in the contract, it says that we will discuss this and we will come to an agreement.
but
So,
it sounds like you didn't come to an agreement, that's why we're here.
because they had left so much stuff there that I thought they were coming back to get more stuff. We would meet in person, we would talk in person. Like I would say, I mean, they had a dishwasher full of stuff. They had a wash machine full of stuff. They had bicycles. They had a swimming pool.
This is all,
Had
okay, when
had
was this,
fam-
when was all of this, and was this, that you noticed this?
in August.
August,
They
okay.
had, her makeup was in the closet. They had family pictures in the closet, or not family pictures, but they had some pictures in the house of some of their kids. They had a couch there. They had a high chair there. They had a children's playhouse
And this
there.
was in August?
Yes. So that's what I'm saying is there was so much stuff. I didn't give them a list to say, because I didn't want to come across as the nasty landlord giving this list saying, look, you left all this stuff here. I'm going to charge you for this, because I honestly thought that they were going to come back. We
In
were going to be,
August?
yes.
You thought
I
they were gonna come back after they terminated their lease agreement
Well,
in August?
there was so much stuff there. I couldn't believe that they would leave so much stuff. I mean, kids' bicycles, a couch, 2 high chairs, bar stools. There was so much stuff there. And that's why I thought they would come back and they would get their stuff. We would be adults and rational, and we would talk to each other. And I would say, okay, so you've used this garage as a storage unit. You've used my driveway to store these three items, a trailer, utility trailer, Suburban. You've used my land to raise your chickens on. What? Sorry. And I would ask them, what do you think is fair that you would pay for that? If you were renting land from someone else to raise your cow or your chickens, what would you pay? If you went to a storage place and you wanted to store your camping trailer there or a vehicle there, what would you pay? What would you pay for a storage unit? All I wanted to do was have a civil conversation with them to figure out what it was that they thought was fair. And then instead,
So, oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'm just saying, and instead, all I get is this nasty, threatening letter saying we demand our money and saying we want all this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to it? They signed a contract, and the rental contract, it says that that they will try to work it out with me before any litigation. They never tried to work it out with me, unless you consider.
But it sounds like I mean, this is a bit of an unusual situation because it's not like they're just flat out terminating their lease agreement without any cause. This was an uninhabitable house that they were wanting to stay in, trying to help make repairs on. And then it does sound like there was, at least for the week of March 9th through 17th, many discussions. And then after the fact about moving out, it sounds like he talked to you. And from what you've told me, he talked to you in person about wanting to move out. And you said, that's fine, you can move
No,
out.
that was person. That was when I was driving in the car back to Utah from Washington.
Okay, but that was in March on the phone?
In a text message, yes.
It was but you just said it was a phone call when
No, I was driving in the car and he was texting back and forth. There's text messages there. And he is getting mad because he's saying that he wants to do the flooring. And I said, we can't do the flooring.
I'm talking about him expressing to you wanting to move out, wanting to terminate the lease agreement. Because you had told me today in your testimony that you guys wanted to work this, or the lease agreement said you had to work things out. And after all of this and the repairs that he didn't do, he just told you that he no longer wanted to live there. And then you said it was okay. And then you can go through that route.
It was in a text message.
Okay, so you did know that, so you had noticed that they wanted to move out in a text message, and then you had the letter that they sent you. Why didn't you give back their security deposit? And you didn't tell them for what you were retaining it for? What did you notify them at all about that? You just kept the $1,500 security deposit?
My understanding was that in the lease agreement, it says if they did anything to cause a house to be uninhabitable, they would be responsible. In other words, they would owe me more than the $1,500, but I was just going to call it a loss. I wouldn't ask them for the money.
So you made these decisions unilaterally without discussing this at all with them, even though
They didn't do anything to cause the house to be uninhabitable. It was a fire of unknown origin, probably due to your crappy wiring situation that you had to have redone throughout the entire house. It's not their fault, in other words. So you can't keep that money, and you can't go after them for the damages caused by the fire because they didn't do it. Wow. Yes, she absolutely is. And I sing it a little differently. My version goes, "What would you do?" Oh shoot, hold on. No. Back up. No. My version goes, "What do you do?" Are you kidding me? Stop it. Okay. Try this one last time. What do you do when your wife's a cunt? There, I finally got it out. Now, every time you hear that song, you're going to actually think of that. What do you do when your wife's a cunt?
your lease agreement says.
Well, they would have owed me a lot more than that. So instead of me saying, oh, well, you owe me this much money and I owe you this much money,
The statute requires a lot of things
okay.
as a landlord. One of those being that there are specific terms and conditions under which you can withhold portions or all of the security deposit. And that includes having like a checklist. And none of that is here, and I don't have any of that in the lease agreement.
Um,
And so there's no, and so from your testimony today, you have never told them why you're retaining that $1,500. Or you've never given them a reason why, you've never given them a basis why you're retaining that $1,500 security deposit.
again, because I thought that that was, according to the contract, we were supposed to do that in person,
Okay,
working it out between us, not going to court. So I thought court
but
would say,
but you're also saying that you were going to work it out in good faith, but you're also saying that their negligence caused the fire, and therefore in the lease agreement that you're entitled to whatever the language is in there, even though we don't have any determination that they were negligent. And so that doesn't apply here. So what does apply here is that the residence was deemed uninhabitable. And so that provision of the lease agreement applies to this specific portion where it was no fault on the tenants, because I don't have anything indicating that it was their fault. And so there's no, you have not given any basis for retaining that $1,500. You've given no written, no verbal, nothing. What about the prepaid lease? So we have the 31 days total between January and February. So they prepaid the lease in February. So for $3,100.
no, they only paid $2,000, not 31. The rent is
31
3,000.
days. So it's a
Okay,
combination of January and February. So it was the portion of, they prepaid a portion of January. And so they're
Okay.
asking for that rent in the last half of January and the first half of February, from what it sounds like. So why was that never returned if they could not live there? At least for that time in February before the fire.
They were going to use that to apply toward their rent, they said, when they moved back in.
Do you have that in writing?
It would probably be in a text message. I'd probably have to go through and read my text messages.
Are they text messages that are submitted to the court as an exhibit? Because I don't recall reading anything like that.
Probably not.
Okay. And so what about the last month rent? Why was that not returned?
Because we're supposed to talk this out and work this through.
But
and
did
we
you
have not-
ever
No,
provide?
because I didn't have a chance because they went and filed the paper in court.
When did they file that? In August?
Probably, I don't remember.
Let me just see. I can look it up myself.
I was planning on working it out with him, but he went and he
Looks
was
like
calling me.
July 24th, 2025.
Okay,
So this
so
was
he-
before, so this was all filed before the August timeline that you're talking about.
Before I got out there in August to inspect the house.
Correct.
Because I didn't need to go out to the house because, I mean, I couldn't afford to because I was waiting. I hadn't gotten approval for an electrician to come in, but he was calling me names. He never got his stuff. And since we were going to go to court, I thought that we would talk about this in court.
Okay, but you have never discussed with him.
No, because
you've
he
never
already had
discussed-
filed the court papers. And I
So,
was
but you
kinda like,
didn't, but so you're not returning it because they filed a small claims against you for this amount?
no, I thought we would talk about it here. I thought that's what court was for.
But your lease agreement requires you to do certain things like return a security deposit and refund rent that they can't, they should, are they not entitled to the repayment of rent that they paid and couldn't then live in the house? So what is the expectation there from your understanding? They cannot live in the house and they paid the rent to live in that house during that time period. You just kept the money?
Well, we hadn't ever gotten together to discuss what
But you've received letters asking to return this money.
I've received threatening letters, but we've never sat together and talked. Not in person, not on the phone, not in a text message, not in court. So I thought since we're going to court, we would talk about it here.
This is not the place to discuss disputes. This is a place for, this is a trial where they made a small claims against you for this amount. So I'm asking you why you haven't, you're saying you haven't returned it because they filed a lawsuit against you and you're just waiting?
Well, I've never gone to small claims court, so I don't know
Okay.
anything about that. I thought that when we would come here, we would say like, there was a couch that had to be removed. There was 2 high chairs, there was 2 bar stools.
So
There,
what cost did you incur to remove all of this stuff that was supposedly theirs?
let me look that up and see.
Okay. Sorry, I can't sit here all day. Do you have, was there a form, did you hire somebody? Did you utilize your adult children like you have in the past? What was, I guess just to kind
I
of,
hired someone. It took a day and a half to remove the stuff, and
who did you use?
his name is Dion. Sorry, I gotta go to where. Gonzalez.
Okay. Do you have a receipt with a price amount that you paid?
Um,
I know I don't have it in front of the court right now, but
He was another formally informal worker, Your Honor. That's all she's had up to this point. Formally informal, non-binding agreements.
I'm just trying to understand.
I need some time for that. I have to pull that app back up on my phone.
Okay. Unfortunately, we do not have
I
a lot
could,
of time left, but I'm understanding that you
back up.
paid for
It's
the
on
cost
the
of
Cash App.
removal. Hmm?
It's on the Cash app. My son can pull it up on my phone. I just
Okay.
deleted the app, but it will have the record still.
Okay. So
But I paid him for use of his truck for 2 days and for dump fees.
okay. And
Um,
that stuff was that all their belongings, or did that include stuff
Yes.
around the house, like
No,
drywall that
no,
had fallen off, or any
no.
debris from the fire, or anything?
no, that was all done before, with
And so
the
you're saying it's
big.
purely their property that was removed?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And it was do you have an estimate on how much you spent?
Um, let me see.
Okay.
It was about
I-
$885 roughly.
And unfortunately, I don't have that receipt in front of me, so I can't determine who, what, where, any of those things. But let's see. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Burton. I'm going to, since the Alawats are the plaintiffs in this, they have an opportunity to provide rebuttal testimony. So, Ms. Burton, I'm going to ask you to mute yourself. And then for the Alawats, just real briefly, I know a lot was said and everything. I'm going to start with asking a few questions, and then we can provide any additional information after that if there's more that you want to provide. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So, there was no walkthrough, right?
Nope.
Yep, nope.
There was no checklist provided.
Nope.
Was there a checklist provided to you after the fact on why the security deposit was being retained to repair,
Nope.
replace, whatever?
No,
No.
she never responded to my letter or anything.
Okay. And when was the last day you guys lived in the residence?
The
January 17th.
day of the fire.
Okay. And is your testimony today, either one of you, so have anybody in your family have stayed in that residence
Nope.
past that date?
Nope.
Nope.
Sleeping
Nope.
there?
Nope.
Nope.
Never.
Were dogs present?
There was, the last dogs there were hers, not ours.
Not ours. Yeah.
When was the
And
last time your dogs were at that residence?
when
Before she
we-
came up,
yeah, when we got out of the second Airbnb and we went to the one in Rainier, Oregon, then
Okay.
both dogs were with us,
and
which
his
was
receipts.
which
Okay, so it wasn't in that time frame between the fire and the March 9th.
There
through
was like,
17th.
yeah, like 3 weeks where a dog was up there. That was like months before she even came up.
Okay, and then you're saying that's the last time any dogs of yours were there?
Yeah,
Yes.
yep.
Okay, so going through all of this, so this week of March 9th through 17th, Mr. Alawat, your testimony today was that there was an agreement to do, was $25 an hour
Yep.
to do, and what was the length of repair? It sounds like Miss Burton was saying it was only
So
texturing of a half a wall in one room.
yeah, no. I taped all the because we sprayed the paint. So I did all the prep work, all the taping with visqueen around the windows, everything. And I had to do that before she even got there. And she arrived and everything's taped up nice with plastic. I laid down all the runners to make sure paint didn't get on the floor. And then every day that she was there, I was there at 8 in the morning. And then I would stay until like 6. And 2 days that we were there, my brother came for free for 8 hours. And I have witnesses that can say like, oh, he was there that entire time. Before she got there, I even did all the duct work. It's, the statement that a contractor said it would take 1 day to do all the work that I did, when it took her contractor 2 days to move 2 chairs and 2 bar stools that were already there and cost $850 to just take barely a truckload. I
So that
painted,
was one of my questions was what property of yours was left at the residence?
I don't remember leaving any. Like, I'm pretty sure we left it pretty,
No, we emptied it. There was a bunch of things in the basement when we moved in. In fact, Mr. Eric Burton came with a U-Haul and took a bunch of things out of the cupboards. There was things left from previous tenants before us, and there was their belongings too.
So,
that
like,
were left there.
I'm trying to show you it's page 5 of their Miss Burton's exhibits, and it's a couple
so that
photos
was
of
from
like,
before we even moved stuff out.
Yeah, that looks like it was from before we moved things
Okay.
out. Like, we cleared
because
it.
it does look like this is fairly like lived in. So page 4, there's like a cooler.
Yeah, no,
So
not
she's
our
saying that the
cooler.
dishwasher, I noticed she mentioned that the dishwasher full of dishes. This is page 3.
So that couldn't, I mean, Serve Pro, who did all the cleaning of the house, should have removed all of our dishes out of the dishwasher. And we never ran the dishwasher ever again since the day of the fire.
Okay, so those are from the fire.
And if Serve Pro did not empty and clean it out, like I said, after the day of the fire, we never operated the dishwasher again.
But they were living there.
They were staying there.
And so I'm looking at page 6. So there's a bunch of like kids' toys and chairs and like
Those
Oh,
were
and
before.
that's before we left. We have that toy in our house right now.
Yep. She
Yeah,
took
those are from
pictures while
before
we were
we even
there.
moved out. That's the picture she took when she came up during her work.
okay. And then I'm guessing so there's like other pictures, there's like a monster truck sitting right here. So all of these pictures you're saying are
Candy being dishonest? Yes, Your Honor, that's exactly what's being stated. Candy is trying to pull a fast one again. Shocking.
Those
Those
are
are-
from before we
yeah.
moved our belongings out on March 31st.
okay. And then I'm showing some like wear and tear on walls. This is pages 10 and 11, I believe. Some like drawings and stuff.
Oh, that's
She had children there every day, and that does not even
we
look like
we painted. My kids never went inside that house after we painted.
Okay, so this is,
So that had to have been before we even painted.
do you recognize, so, okay, so like
That's
these
not my
drawings.
child's drawing style. That's not our, she had kids there daily.
And those are from before we even painted the house. Because everything got painted. So
Okay, so this is all pre-paint that, and then you were
yeah,
doing.
and a lot of those were already there. I mean, they have murals all over that house.
Okay,
There's no basis for comparison either.
And then also that fire inspection, that was done by the mortgage company. the fire department came out the next day and did an
The day after the
inspection.
fire.
And they,
Yeah.
and then I asked them and I was like, hey, is it okay if I start clearing the smoldering stuff out? And the fire department said, yes.
So
Okay.
it doesn't reignite those smoldering items.
So when you were removing stuff, it was after you were removing stuff based on what the fire
The
department.
fire department, yeah, the fire investigator,
marshal.
fire marshal came up, did an investigation.
So
said-
how, okay, just I'm trying to get through some things
Yeah.
quickly. The heat lamps out to the chicken, how long were your chickens out there?
They were adult chickens, a couple years old. They had no heat lamps.
Okay.
That is not true. That was
And I
a
guess
lie.
where, yeah, heat, or do, like to a coop where you would
Yeah,
put
there's a
heat lamps?
there's a coop out in the back of the
But you're
property.
saying no power went out
No
there.
power.
No, we weren't running power.
And you said that the water, they had like full water, I believe full
They
buckets of
had
water.
full, multiple 5-gallon waterers that had been full.
Okay, and so the
fact, I
breakdown of
gave them the
hours that
eggs.
you did, the $25 an hour, that was kind of an estimate of what your hours.
Oh, I did way
were.
more than 50
Okay.
hours. Way more than 50 hours. And to say that 25 is, I mean, she hired me as a non-professional, you know? And then for her using duct tape to hang ducting, that's why they call it duct tape. Ducting.
All right. I just have, I guess, thank you for, is there anything else that you guys want to state?
So another thing she said, I'm new to being a landlord. We are not her first tenants there. There's been tenants before us. And if, you know, if she was told about rewiring the electrical from the electrician, why, from that moment on, why did we continue working? You know, if the plan was to rip everything out after the electrician came, then it should have been all stopped, but she had me keep on working for the next couple days, you know, so it should have been an all stop from that moment on. It wasn't until they left that she's like, oh, I have to rewire the entire house, you know,
So that was after you guys had done the work,
yeah.
and that was, let's see, the whole house had to be rewired. You found out that, like you said, after the work was.
After I'd done all the work, but the electrician had been there before, you know, that wasn't, she didn't get notified that like the electrician came on like day two while I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we
Okay.
kept working. So like, if you're told, hey, you have to rewire the whole house, why continue doing any work?
Okay. All right. I just have 2 quick questions for Miss Burton, and then we'll give my ruling. So, Miss Burton, if you could unmute. So the photos that you provided and submitted as exhibits, they're
They are
stating
all
that
from August.
they're all from August, even though they stated that I pointed out to one toy in particular, and they stated that's in their house right now.
No,
This one
No.
right here.
they might have 2 of them, but there's one at that house. It's still there. I have timestamps.
You said it's
on
still
her
there.
picture.
I thought you had everything removed.
I mean, well, it was there when we took the pictures. That was after they moved out. We have timestamps of the pictures we can show you.
But these aren't timestamp. That's unfortunately.
I don't know if
But
I can show
this
you
is-
from our
but
phone where it has a picture.
I'm
of the
just
tiny
trying to make distinctions because it looks like these photos were taken before the repairs were made, because you submitted photos of the repairs of the walls and texturing and all of that. So these seem to be like before that.
No, those are after. Those are after. And we continued working through the week because the guy did not come until the day that we were, our last day working there. He didn't come on the second day we were there. He came at the end. Because we were like, shoot, we just spent all this time and money on painting a house. We wouldn't have done this if it was going to be cut up. We bought a paint sprayer and everything. We bought all the paint in Utah and drove it up there with us.
So I wanted to ask you about,
And they did, not only did they have the heat with the chicken coop, they also had a light out there. And
Okay, so, and I'm looking at all of the text messages you provided. I think, was this the timestamps you were talking about? This is on page 8 of your exhibits. The timestamps about the photographs of stuff.
no, the
that-
timestamp is when you take a picture on your phone at the bottom.
No,
it
I
shows the time.
I know what I'm talking about the text message that you sent on page 8. So it's text messages to Heather. And it's taking pictures of like, are these things that belong to your children under the tarp?
Oh,
Is that what
that
you're
one-
talking about?
Well, that one I did take before. Those are things that she moved. Those things under the tarp, that when they moved out, like around April 1st, they took the stuff that was in the pile on the deck that was under the tarp.
And then what? You moved it back into the house to take the pictures after they were completely gone? That doesn't make any sense, lady.
They took the stuff that was in the garage.
So, but
Well,
you're
they-
saying that they took the stuff that was under the tarp.
And I'd have to look at the picture, but at least most of the stuff that was under the tarp, the tarp, I would have to
But you
probably
just,
move.
okay. But
But
she
like
did come
there's
in,
a swimming pool, there was stuff in the house, like her makeup, the kids, the bicycles outside,
but they're stating that was all
dishwasher.
before.
No, it wasn't.
But I'm looking at photographs that you sent for this one, and this photograph in particular, so it's page 6, middle row, the far right one right here. It's a little high chair.
Hold on.
Looks like a high chair.
Early, we took pictures after there.
That's
We
in the
took-
same page 6 of your exhibits. This one on the far right in the middle row. It's like a high chair. This was under the tarp.
Where's the colored pictures at?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is, yeah, I'm looking at page, 6. This is a high chair right here. And it's the same high chair that's in this that was under the tarp that you said she removed.
Oh, that was there in August.
She did not take everything under the tarp. Like page 6, all those pictures, that's a different, maybe they have more than one high chair because there was one in the basement, there was one on the deck.
Oh, now she has 2 identical toys. She has 2 identical high chairs, all to make sure that, you get stuck with the bill, right, lady? You're so fake. You're so phony. No one believes you.
And then there was
It's
one.
actually the same because the high chair, the tray is in the same exact position.
Well, okay, on page 6, the picture to the right, that
Mhm.
picture's not under the tarp.
Correct? But
That
it's the
that
same high chair in the tarp picture that's on here. That's what I'm trying to point out.
Well, then maybe they pulled it out and didn't take it. Because like this picture here, this one right here,
Oof, can't see that.
I don't know how to change the lighting on it, but it shows on the top August 13th.
True.
Okay, August 13th for that. That doesn't even look like the same high chair.
And this one here,
So that you can see the wood on there. That's the
Mhm.
deck. And in
Sorry, I need you to not speak. You're not
yeah, I
under
have-
oath. I'm sorry. You can't do that. Okay. All right, and then, let's see. The rewiring, so you stopped, so you found about the rewiring and then you kept doing work?
No, we didn't do any work after. We were done. We were like cleaning up. He might have finished his room. I mean, he was working on the master bedroom while Julie and I worked on the rest of the house. We were done with our work.
So was
he
the
might have
house,
continued it.
when you guys showed up, was it all taped off and ready for you to paint?
The window, most of the windows were covered, not all
Okay.
of them.
So, but there was preparation done ahead of the time that you got there, so work could have been done before you got there.
Yes,
Okay,
the taping of the windows that were done.
okay. And the taping off everything for painting plastic?
No, just the plastic over the windows and the tape holding the plastic around the windows.
Okay. All right. All right, I am going to give my ruling now. All right.
But we also have that text message where he's asking for $20. So I don't know why he's now asking for 25.
What text message was $20 an hour?
The text messages between him and I, when I was driving,
You want to send it to you in a picture?
it's in the pictures.
I don't know if it's here.
But that was only what he asked for. That wasn't even what I agreed upon. But I also said, because like I have to.
Did he pay for any materials?
No, he did pay for them, but I always reimbursed him.
Did
I
you
always
reimburse him for this?
For all materials that he got, I reimbursed him for.
Mr. Alawa, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Did you receive reimbursement for any costs incurred while you were working that March 9th through 17th that you would normally get reimbursement for?
There was just a couple of things that I wasn't able to send her on receipts, but yeah.
Okay, so but did you send her receipts to reimburse you?
No,
Okay.
no. There was more, but she had already said stop talking to me, and then we sent her the letter expecting her to want to talk to us, and she didn't. So.
Okay. All right, now I'm getting my ruling. All right, so we have these small claims where Heather and Garrett Alawat, with the respondent being Miss Candy Burton. This is a landlord-tenant claim with a total amount of $9,920. It is broken down, and I'm going to go down each single one, itemized list. So for the first is a security deposit for the amount of $1,500. I find that that the lease agreement did not have any terms or conditions under which the deposit or portion thereof may be withheld by the landlord, and there was no follow-up. The landlord just kept the deposit without any communication to the tenant. So I will be awarding.
But the deposit was only $1,000, not.
Can you please, the $1,500 is in the lease agreement. Can you please stay muted while I give my ruling? The $1,500 security deposit, it will be awarded to the plaintiffs, going down for the prepaid lease and rent that had not been paid. I do, it looks like it was $3,100 that was not returned. The house was deemed uninhabitable on January 17th, 2024, excuse me, 2024? 2025, sorry, 2025. And the tenants traditionally prepay their rent. So they prepaid for the end of January through the first half of February in the amount of $3,100. I have heard no legal reason for the landlord to retain that amount of money. I see you raising your hand. I will give you one opportunity. I do not
Oh, the judge is mad.
usually allow interruptions during my ruling, so please keep it very brief.
The rent is not $3,100, it's $3,000.
They didn't pay it all either. Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Sorry. Yeah, now I can.
I don't know why I got muted there for some reason.
Okay.
Just to be clear, I had awarded the $1,500 security deposit, and for the prepaid lease amount, that for the time period where the tenants could not reside in the house, there was no negligence finding. So the lease agreement language controls that the tenants have a right to terminate the lease agreement. They could not live there, so I am awarding them the $3,100 or $3,100.
Court is back in session. This is the
Unfortunately, that was where the hearing came down. The judge took it off of YouTube immediately. And but I'm pretty sure we can piece together how it was ruled upon. I'm sure of it. Basically Candy lost. Yeah, it was an hour and 45 minutes. That was after I edited it too. There wasn't a lot to take out though, but I know, I'm so sorry. Yeah, and believe you me, it was a lot of work to make sure that I got that last final little tidbit, because where it ended for me, like, and everybody else that was actually watching it live streamed, it ended earlier than that point. So basically, the judge, the moment she got done giving her ruling, she took it off of YouTube. And I don't know if, like, because there's like a 10-second delay, I don't know if like that part hadn't already played and that's why I still got it or what. But at any rate, that's all I got for that one. This one here, so we had Candy Burton, and now we have Burton Bailey. I just, I thought it went well together.
Family law docket held in person and by video conference for Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. The time is now 4:36. Ms. Flores, would you call the next case, please?
Yes, Your Honor, that'll be Attorney Rudy Santos, page 8, number 21.
Jaylee K. Soraya and Emilio Soraya versus Burton Daniel Bailey, cause number 2025 FLF 1266C3. Good afternoon, Mr. Santos.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Court Martial President participating by video conference. Speak into the microphone and tell the court, are you Julie K. Soraya?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Welcome to court. The court martial present in person. Are you Emilio Soraya?
Yes, Your Honor.
Welcome to court. The court martial present in person. Are you Burton Daniel Bailey?
Yes, Your Honor.
Welcome to court, sir. The court martial present, you're participating by video conference. Mr. Burton, do you have a lawyer?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Are you going forward without a lawyer?
That's my only option at this point.
Court marked you self-represented. Mr. Santos, what is the announcement?
Your Honor, this is a termination/adoption proceeding. I believe that it's a pretty straightforward matter. We do have a conviction from another state, the equivalent of which would be indecency with the child and would be grounds for termination under the family code. We are asking that the court take note of that, and also that we be able to provide evidence today to show that it is in fact in the best interest of the child that termination be granted, and that an adoption also be granted in favor of Mr. Emilio Soria, the man who's basically raised this child for the last 10 years.
All right, your announcement then, Mr. Santos, you're ready to go forward.
We are, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, is it Mr. Burton or Mr. Bailey?
It's Bailey. It's Mr. Bailey, Your Honor.
Mr. Bailey, are you ready to go forward?
Not at this moment, Your Honor. I've been trying to file a response for the past 3.5 months. The facility that I'm at has been a lockdown situation, and we haven't been allowed to move around the compound at all. I had Chief Counselor Jackson here from the prison contact whoever was in the documents, the notice he sent to inform the court that we haven't had any access to any court or anything like that because of the security problems going on. They're supposed to be loosening them back up over the next week. And I have a lot of documents I'd like to file and some motions I'd like to put in on this. Because I'm going to contest this because that the Texas Penal Code he just cited 2111. I've never committed or ever been convicted of any act like that.
Couple of
So
things, Mr. Bailey, couple of things. First thing, you were served with process in September of last year.
yes, sir.
That's 3, 4, 5 months ago. Number one. Number two, you said you'd like to file a response, but if
Yes,
for
sir.
whatever reason you have limitations that prevent you to do so, you're certainly able here now to present whatever evidence and testimony that you want. So you're given the opportunity to be heard. But the court has a question. Are you contesting this termination and adoption?
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
Well, you're certainly allowed to do that. I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked the other two cases, whose request I ended up denying. And you know how this is going to go, but I need to get it on the record. Mr. Bailey, do you have a written request for an extension of time?
No, Your Honor, that was part of what I was just explaining to you. I have not been able to mail or file anything for the past two months.
All right, so I'll allow you to do it orally. What request do you have, if any, in regard to that?
I would like to ask if I could just get a couple of weeks to get the response filed, get these motions filed, and get some evidence put together, because I was under the impression that I would be able to upload these things as the notice explained to the notice told me to. They aren't able to do that here at the facility, so I'm going to have to mail those to somebody and have them uploaded so I can present them to
Mr.
you.
Bailey, let
Any
me ask
evidence
you
on them?
this. Let me ask you this. What could possibly happen over the next 2 weeks that hasn't already happened in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 months?
I'd be able to get this in the mail. I made arrangements today and yesterday to get this
what
all
is that
mailed off.
specific? What is that? What changes over the next 2 weeks? What is the difference?
I'm sorry, but difference in what?
Well, you haven't done it before, but you're going to do it in the next 2 weeks. And tell me what has changed that
All right,
would
so
allow
it's
you
like
to do it over the
explaining
next 2 weeks.
the facilities come off of lockdown. So we've been locked down for months. We finally come off a lockdown situation so I can actually move around and do things. So that's why I'm asking if I can get the opportunity to actually respond to this, because up till now I've not had any opportunity to.
The court will allow you to respond today. Mr. Santos, are you ready to go forward?
We are, Your Honor.
All right. Who is your first witness?
Your Honor, we call Mrs. Julia Soria.
Ms. Soria, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this cause will be the truth, so help you God? Let me ask court staff if that was loud enough. All right, much closer, or you can change mics or just pull it as close to you as possible. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this cause will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may lower your hand. Mr. Santos, go ahead.
Can you please say your full name for the record, ma'am?
Julie K. Soria,
And what is the name of the child, the subject of this lawsuit?
Calliope Bailey,
And who is her biological father?
Burton Bailey,
Where is he presently located?
a facility in Georgia,
What type of facility, ma'am?
a prison,
Ma'am, how long has he been imprisoned in Georgia?
I think since 2019.
And do you know what he is imprisoned for?
I do.
What offenses would those include? Would that include rape of a minor child under the
Yes,
age of 16?
yes,
Is it more than one counts of rape of a child under the age of 16?
I believe so, and also to include sodomy.
Aren't there in fact orders preventing Mr. Bailey from having any contact with children at any time?
Yes,
And is he in fact serving 2 life sentences for the repeated rape and abuse of the half sibling of Calliope, the child, the subject of this lawsuit?
yes.
What type of relationship, if any, does Calliope want to have with her biological father?
None.
What, if any, support has the respondent provided to you for the needs of the child?
He's never supported anything.
Within the last 10 years, who's been the one that has filled the role as the father of this child, the subject of this lawsuit?
Emilio Soria.
And is it in fact the case that Calliope has filed a document indicating that she wants to be adopted by Mr. Soya.
Yes,
Do you believe that that is in the best interest of the child?
I do.
Do you believe that allowing Mr. Bailey to have a continuing parental relationship with the child, the subject of this lawsuit, is in any way going to benefit her best interest?
Say that again?
Would it in any way benefit your daughter if Mr. Bailey is allowed to continue to have parental rights to your daughter?
No,
Would it be in the best interest that a termination be granted here?
yes.
Pass the witness.
Mr. Bailey, do you have any questions for Ms. Soria?
I do, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, did you say I do or I don't?
I do, Your Honor.
I know that it's his right because he's pro se, but I really hate when the perps get to interrogate their exes, the people that were victimized by them once already. Just digs at my soul.
Go ahead.
Ms. Soria, did or did not Calliope, you and your 3 children live with me in my home for nearly 8 years?
Objection relevance.
What is
She
the
just said I'd never.
What is the relevance to the question, Mr.
She
Bailey?
just said I'd never supported that child in any way. She lived with me for 8 years as my daughter.
You can answer the question, Ms. Soria.
Objection conditional relevance based on time frame. There's no time frame indicated by the question, and therefore it's confusing, vague, and ambiguous.
Understood. If you understand the question, you can answer it. If you don't understand or you don't know, you should just say that because you're under oath. But whatever the answer is, Ms. Soria, you may give it.
Since my daughter was in kindergarten, like 5 or 6 years old, that was the last time she saw him.
Next question, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Bailey, speak directly into the microphone device.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I have a hard time hearing. Did or did I not, after our separation, send child support to you for Calliope?
No, you did not.
Any other questions?
Yes. What was the purpose in you moving to Texas from Georgia?
Objection relevance.
What is the relevance to
is the best interest of the child. So if she spent most of her life in the southern area of Georgia, why the sudden move to Laredo, Texas?
Overall, the subject isn't geography. The subject is termination. Excuse me, sustained. The objection is sustained. Next question.
Okay. So, question. Where is the basis of this accusation that I raped Calliope?
Objection relevance, Your Honor. Conditional relevance. There are no allegations that the child, the subject of the suit, has been raped. The allegation and the pleadings clearly reflect that the termination is sought because another child was endangered under the penal code.
The objection is sustained. Next question.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. He literally just asked her that question and she said yes.
I've sustained the objection. Do you have another question?
Have you or have you not been under investigation by the Department of Family and Children's Services involving the child as subject?
Objection relevance, Your Honor. My client is not the one that is the subject of any kind of termination or modification being sought in this lawsuit.
The relevance to the question, Mr. Bailey?
The 2 parties that brought this petition against me were investigated by the Georgia Department.
So let me tell you what's going on, Mr. Bailey. The way Zoom works is that if you look forward and speak right into the device, we can hear you. But when you speak down, for some reason, Zoom suppresses your voice. So speak right into and tell the court the relevance as to that question, please. Is there any person within that facility or in your immediate presence, Mr. Bailey, that can assist you with your audio? Nothing is coming through at this point.
Yeah, what's up with it?
All right.
I'm not sure.
Mr. Bailey, go ahead and ask that question or answer
What?
the response to the
Yeah,
relevance.
I'm gonna give some. You go ahead.
She said she's gonna be right back with a headphone microphone.
Yep,
I'm
tell
sorry,
the
sir,
court-
could you?
Tell the court the
Could you-
relevance to the investigation question.
So petitioners are seeking support or seeking to adopt the child through termination of my parental rights. The petitioners in question have been investigated for possible abuse and danger to my daughter. So I'm failing to see how they're even being able to be bringing this suit when they obviously don't have the best interest of the child are.
Make sure.
Mr. Bailey, do you have a counter petition on file? Let me ask the clerk that question. Is there a counter petition on file?
Your Honor, we do not have a counter petition on file.
The objection is sustained. Mr. Bailey, the objection has been sustained. Do you have another question?
Sorry.
You do.
Yeah, I can hear me now. Can you hear me better, Your Honor?
I did. I sustained the objection. Any other questions for Ms. Soria?
He can hear you good.
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Right, anything on redirect, Mr. Santos?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Your next witness, Mr. Santos?
Your Honor, we call Mr. Emilio Soria.
Mr. Soria, I'm going to ask that you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this cause will be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may lower your hand, Mr. Santos. Go ahead.
Mr. Soria, can you please say your full name for the record?
Emilio Soria.
And what is it you do by profession, sir?
I'm sorry.
What is it that you do by profession?
I'm a federal agent.
And how long have you been with federal law enforcement, sir?
5 years.
And how is it that you know the child is subject of the suit, Calliope?
I was active duty military. And I met Julie while I was still active duty. At this point, she was no longer with Mr. Bailey. And that's when we ended up meeting. I was a single parent of 2 kids, and we were able to work them.
And since that time, have you been responsible for the care, protection, and support of the child, Calliope?
Yes, I have.
Can you describe your relationship to the court with respect to the one that exists between you and Calliope?
Pretty much she's my youngest daughter. Excuse me. Simple terms, she's my mini-me. She does everything I do, and she wants to be like me. And she wants to be just like her sisters, and she wants to go to college right now.
Tell me about that, sir. What are your future plans for this child?
Right now, she should be graduating here pretty soon, next year, and she's already picking up a couple of colleges that she wants to go to.
Are you able to provide for the emotional needs that this child has?
Yes.
How so, sir? Can you explain that to the court?
I'm pretty much on a daily basis. We interact just like father and daughter.
Is it close, caring, loving relationship?
Most definitely.
Do you know? I'm
on
sorry,
certain
sir.
days-
Go ahead.
On certain days that I'm able to go and pick her up from school, we pretty much, mom doesn't like me picking her up as much because we go and have ice cream and hang out for 2 or 3 hours on a normal day.
What about her physical needs? doctor's appointments, anything else she might need. Are you involved in that, sir?
Yes.
And
Matter of fact, right now she got braces about a year ago. And I'm the one who mostly takes her to those appointments. And again, after that, the best treat is ice cream for the pain. So that's in a normal average day.
He is so sweet. Probably from all the ice cream. But you can tell how much he genuinely loves this child that's nearly an adult now and is very much involved in this decision. Like this isn't something that they're choosing for this girl. This girl is in high school. He's been her daddy for 10 years now. And I don't blame her for picking him.
And do you recognize what Calliope is going to need in order to succeed and become a functional adult?
Yes.
Can you provide what it is that this child is going to need in order to flourish?
Most definitely.
Do you know if Calliope desires to take on your surname, being that you have been the effective father for the last 10 years of this child's life?
That is one of her dreams.
And are you asking the court today to make her dream a reality and grant the adoption and grant the name change?
Yes, I am.
Do you believe that's in her best interest?
Definitely.
Pass the witness.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Soria, Mr. Bailey?
I do, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Mr. Soria, how long after our relationship did you say you and Miss Soria started seeing each other?
Once you decided to go to Washington State and run away from the whole entire family.
So you're saying here before the court, you and her were not involved in a relationship 6 months prior to us separating?
Objection, relevance.
What's the relevance to the question, Mr. Bailey?
The two parties are not telling the truth. They're being patently untruthful with almost every single thing you've said.
No,
So
the objection is sustained. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll ask you the same question, Mr. Sawyer. Was the Department of Family and Children's Services ever involved in investigation for any incident that happened to your home while you're in Georgia?
Objection, relevance. Again, there are no pleadings on file to support that there should be a modification, termination, or any other implications by the questions being asked.
The objection is sustained. Do you have any other questions, Mr. Bailey?
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask you a question, Your Honor. How do I go about filing a
I'm going to
recusal?
object, Your Honor. The court is not a witness to this case.
Mr. Santos, Mr. Bailey, this is your opportunity, Mr. Bailey, to ask any
I
questions.
object, Your Honor. You're not allowing me an opportunity. You're one
Objection, sidebar.
objection after another sustain every single thing I'm trying to do.
And I'm going to start muting people if y'all keep talking over each other. Mr. Bailey, I've sustained some objections, but you certainly have the opportunity to ask any other questions you'd like. Do you have any other questions for Mr. Soria, this witness?
I would like to ask Mr. Sawyer what reason for asking the court to waive the requirement for Calliope to appear in person. What was the reason for that?
Right now, she was actually in school, so that's one of the main reasons she could not be attending here. And I'm not going to go ahead and pull her out of school on a very strict regimen that she's at, just to be present here. And she does. In my point of view, this is not something that she would benefit her from listening to all of this stuff that's going on.
Mr. Soria, Are you aware of any proceedings going on currently that would affect the outcome of this case or decision here in this case?
I am not.
Have you been made aware by any party or anyone that I'm currently in habeas corpus proceedings awaiting for this case's final judgment to return it from what I'm in
Objection,
prison for now?
objection, asked and answered.
I didn't, if it was asked, I certainly didn't hear the response. Mr. Soria, if you know the answer, you could give it.
I wasn't too sure of the question. Can you repeat the question one more time?
Has anyone made you aware in any way that I'm in the middle of a habeas corpus proceeding or waiting for my convictions to be overturned?
You're in prison. You are going to exhaust every motion, every appeal, and spend the majority of your free time back in court trying to fight your conviction or at the law library trying to look up the big words to fight your conviction. So it doesn't matter if you have a current case for habeas corpus open and you're overturning your conviction. So what? You could be doing that for the next 60 years, for however long your sentence is, or until the courts have just said no more.
I am not aware.
So this suit wasn't brought as a response to that, because the timing of this I'm finding incredibly hard to miss.
No, the reason we're doing this is because she needs to start moving forward to be successful in what she needs to do.
Let me ask you a question, Ms. Sawyer. You have two daughters, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Mr. Soria is on the stand right now.
Right. So I think his question was to Mr. Soria.
Yes. Mr. Soria, you have two daughters, correct?
That's incorrect.
So you have two children, correct? I think I heard you say earlier.
I have two kids that is my own.
Do you feel like it would be in your children's best interest for another man to adopt them after not being in contact with their father
Objection,
through no fault of his own?
objection, relevance.
Sustained.
I mean,
The objection has
this
been.
is exactly what he's asking to do here. What do you mean?
The objection is sustained. Do you have any other questions for this witness?
No, sir, Your Honor. I'm good.
Mr. Santos, do you have any other witnesses?
I do not, Your Honor.
Mr. Bailey, do you have any witnesses?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Is there anything that you would like to say or put on the record, Mr. Bailey?
I would.
Go ahead.
So I'd like to bring the court's attention that there's habeas corpus proceedings going on right now for the convictions of which I'm currently incarcerated. These convictions were brought through prosecutorial misconduct and unlawful acts by the court and untruthful testimony by my accuser. I'm less than 2 months from a final judgment in this hearing, which I'll be released, and any convictions that I do have would be null, would be a moot point to bring as grounds here. I also point out that the grounds that petitioners have brought, I have not been convicted of any of these crimes. So they've listed the penal codes 2111, 4325, and 2102, which I've never been convicted of. So their filing isn't even valid. The filing I received from them have not been verified. All of the notary public stamps within there says their commission expired 3 years before they verified the documents. So by statute, they're all required to be verified. They haven't been. Also, petitioners, I'm pretty sure, are aware that I'm in the middle of habeas corpus proceedings. That's why they brought this
All right,
to
I'm
the
gonna have to
court.
object at this point to conditional relevance. I mean, these issues would be relevant if there were an overturning of that conviction, but even by Mr. Bailey's own admission, there's a conviction for the rape of a 16-year-old, continuous rape.
There's no continuous rape of any. So there's a single act of which I've been convicted of that is false. It is false testimony provided the conviction.
Well,
There's
then
not
by
been
his own admission,
continuous rape.
Well, let me
There's
ask
been-
you this, Mr. Bailey. I know what your opinion is, but is there a conviction or is there not a conviction?
There is a conviction for rape, Your Honor. Not continuous assaults, not
So,
what was this, sexual
I say
performance by a
this,
child.
on a number
not-
of dockets, including this one, but there are certain things that this court can't change. I understand your opinion and your belief and your understanding of the facts is different and that they're false. However, the court must give fair faith and credit to any other judgment in any other court and any other jurisdiction. So if there's a final conviction, that's factually accurate. So the objection for that reason is sustained, but you may continue to make whatever statements you want on the record.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead with the statement then. So this conviction was a result of a child custody issue between Mrs. Sori and I.
Objection, Your Honor. We're gonna relitigate issues about a child custody matter. This is a termination proceeding.
Well, that's the point of the reason why we're here.
Your
All right,
Honor,
so,
we're not here.
so we can do one of two things, Mr. Bailey. So we can do one of two things. Under examination, like direct examination, you're allowed to testify, which is what I'm allowing you to do. And then Mr. Santos can object. Now, we can continue down this road, or we can both close and just make whatever argument you want. And it's just argument. It's not presented by way of facts, as you
So
wish, Mr. Bailey.
So what you're saying is I'm allowed to testify, but he's allowed to object to anything I say, and you're allowed to keep me from testifying.
Objections
Because
is
you just
sidebar mutual.
sustained every single thing I've tried to talk about.
No, I'm saying that you can continue to testify and Mr. Santos can continue to object unless it sounds like you want to make argument, which is different from testimony. And it's not clear to the court whether you want to testify or whether you want to argue.
I'm trying to give testimony as far as to where we've ended up here.
All right, Mr. Bailey, you may proceed.
So, Sora and I were involved in a relationship for 8 years. She lived with me with her 3 children. We had a child together. I raised those children with her and my child with her until she separated from me and she was in a relationship with Mr. Sori. After she stopped letting me talk to my child and continuously trying to keep the other children from speaking to me, I got gainful employment in Washington so that I could get an attorney and I get custody of my daughter, Calliope. Ms. Sori continuously did not allow me to speak to my daughter, Calliope, throughout this entire period until she called me in June of the following year of our separation and asked for me to get involved with Calliope being problematic with the new boyfriend, Emilio, at the time. So I sent a phone to my daughter. I spoke with her for a few weeks. Then Ms. Soria started keeping me from speaking to her, taking the SIM card out of the phone, saying it was broken, different excuses until
I'm gonna have to object at this
so
point.
on.
We're getting very far away from the termination and its relevant elements and
I've given
issues.
you some leeway, Mr. Bailey. I'm going to give you just a little bit more leeway and you've got to wrap it up. In other words, tell the court where you're going with this so that you can
So
continue.
my point being is that from the minute that she and I broke up, she has kept my family and kept me from seeing those children. It's been their only family.
Good. It sounds to me like she made a very wise decision. Because there's no reason you should be around those children. Sicko.
So this man here, who's saying he's been her only family for the last 10 years, of course he has, because she has not allowed her own family to be a part of her life. This little girl has a family, has had a family, who's always tried to be there. She's dodged any phone call, any mail, any attempt for anybody to get in contact with her, including myself. The minute I told her through multiple phone calls in the middle of the night,
Your Honor,
bothered
on
made that up.
non-conditional relevance, there wouldn't be a necessarily that there was a prevention. It's that there's a no contact order with any children because there's a conviction for continuous rape of a child under the age of 16 years old.
What's your
There
response?
is no
to-
non-contact
what's your
order.
response to that objection, Mr. Bailey? Is there or is there not a no contact order by
There-
some court?
There is not a no contact order with any children. It says that I could have no contact with my accuser and her immediate family.
I doubt that very much, sir. I very, very much doubt that.
You may proceed.
So Ms. Soria has kept Calliope from knowing whether or not her family even wants or cared about her through this entire period, which I'm sure has broken that little girl's heart, has broken my family's heart.
That assumes facts outside of the record.
Sustained.
So I also point out that shortly after getting arrested and brought to county here, I learned Miss Soria had a methamphetamine addiction.
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
She's not fit to be a mother.
Sustained.
And there are no pleadings to support that, nor have there been any filed for years, Your Honor.
Sustained. Anything else, Mr. Bailey?
No, that's it, Your Honor. Over there.
Any other witnesses, Mr. Santos?
No, Your Honor.
Closing arguments, Mr. Santos.
Your Honor, it's very clear that what we have here is an individual that's incarcerated who's been convicted by his own admission for the rape of a child. He was 37 years old at the time. This happened in 2020. He can't even recognize why
Objection, Your Honor.
He can't even recognize why it's not in the best interest of his daughter not to be here today. Nor has he even tried to contact his daughter for over 7 years, is my understanding. But there has been somebody there, Mr. Emilio Soria, who stepped up, raised this child who's now a teenager, and that's not easy. And he's still here begging for an adoption so that this child can move on with her life, because all she wants is to have her dad actually formally named her dad legally and have her dad's surname. That's in her best interest. To leave what Mr. Bailey did to her half-sister long in her history and never have to look back. So we are asking that the court grant the termination and go ahead and grant the adoption as well. We believe both are in the best interest of the children, of the child, and at this time, Your Honor, that is the relief that we're requesting.
Mr. Bailey, you may provide closing arguments if you so wish.
I would just state this is not in the best interest of this child. These two individuals have never had the best interest of the child in heart. I mean, if the court actually took into consideration the filings and the situation, which, I mean, I would have been able to make happen by making any kind of filing if I would be given the opportunity, but I wasn't. That's about it. That's all I have to say.
I guess before the court pronounces and renders, I just have a couple of questions for you, Mr. Soria. The court heard a couple of things. The court heard, these were your words, that you've been dad to Calliope for 10 years. Tell me her age.
Right now, she's 16 years old.
Say that again?
16 years old.
The court also heard that she's close to graduation.
Yes, Your Honor. She
How-
graduates next year.
Next year. How old will she be at graduation?
She's going to be 17.
Not yet an adult at graduation. And I guess the last question the court has is, and you touched on this, but I guess I need to understand the decision that you've undertaken to make this request to the court now and not a year from now or a year ago, but tell the court that that process.
Being part of the military, I have a lot of benefits and a lot of things that I can do for her to continue on in college. Not just that, medical, fully covered, especially, like I said, military and the federal government. Dental, vision, I provide a lot. Financially, medically, but I think the most important part is the emotional part. I mean, having a little daughter, you can't put words to that.
All right, anything else from any side? All right, Ms. Soria, Mr. Soria, Mr. Bailey, in this cause number 2025 FLF 1266C3. The court at this time finds that it has jurisdiction over this case, meaning this is the proper court form and venue to consider the request to terminate and to grant the adoption. I guess what the court has heard here through evidence and testimony is that there is a conviction, although that matter is trying to be appealed. It's a fully final conviction until it isn't. And as of today, February 24, 2026, it stands. So the court takes it as judicially true that this act did in fact happen. On top of that, even if that weren't true, the court finds by evidence and testimony here that Mr. Bailey has failed to provide support for many years, and at least the minimum required under the laws of the state of Texas, specifically the Texas Family Code, to grant the request. For all of the reasons stated on the record and then regurgitated by the court hereby grants a request for termination. Now, regarding the adoption, the court finds that Mr. Soria has, in fact, in life, been father, at least in name only, to this girl, to this daughter. And the request here is not only to continue intact the family relationship, but to take on additional obligations that he isn't already obligated to do. And that includes college, medical support, dental, and medical support. In addition to what the court has seen here is all the substantial emotional support that this man provides to this child. The court hereby grants the request, changes Kathleen's last name to Soria. The adoption is hereby granted. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
These are all the orders of the court, and the orders are due to the court on or before.
I'll be appealing this decision, Your Honor.
At noon by submission.
I couldn't hear that. The orders are due to the court on or before.
March 30th at noon by submission.
All right, the court wishes everyone well. Have a good
Thank you,
day.
Your Honor.
Anything else on this case? All right.
I'll be appealing this decision, Your Honor. Let you know.
Great day.
Next case for Mr.
God
Santos.
bless you all. Thank you.
Page 2, number 3.
Paola Sabrina Casas versus Miguel Diaz, cause number 2015, CBW 2051C3.
Of course, his final parting words were, "I'll be appealing this decision." You ain't gonna win. Just like you're not gonna win your habeas corpus appeal. Right? Right? Yes, absolutely. The judges, I know, he's got a very unique way of speaking. It's not bad. It's just very unique. Yeah, I wanted to give you guys all a moment to celebrate. Yeah, the judge made the right decision, that's for sure. I was super happy when I heard that his rights were terminated, and I was like, hell, that's one great step just in itself. Even if the adoption didn't go through, which, I mean, there was no reason for it not to, but even if it hadn't, just having the termination go through, that was a giant step in a positive direction for that girl. But now, having Mr. Sorio as her father, legally, now she's entitled to his military benefits and his federal benefits. She's not going to have to worry about college. She's not going to have to, worry about anything. Like that's why, even though she's nearly an adult, he still wanted her to be adopted. She now has medical coverage until at least the age of 26 if she's still in school, and it sounds like she's planning on going to college, so she'll be covered with medical coverage through the VA and through the federal government. Like, she's double covered. The girl's set now. She has a chance to have a good life now, where that creep in prison can't provide that. And I don't know why he's fighting it. Someone stepping up and giving your child a life that you can't because of choices you made, and you're going to stand in the way of it? Oh, man. I hope that room reserved for you in hell burns hotter than all of the rest. Yeah, I know. Yes. They take care of their own in there. Yep, they sure do. Once they find out that that's what you're in there for, you're in for something. And it's not fun something. They don't throw you a nice little party. Oh, no. As he should. He needs to disappear from the upper level of soil. Find himself 6 feet under. Yeah. Literally. I try to find the best for you guys. That's why I started early. Because look, even with starting early, we're still, we're still ending the next day. But I gotta go get Ava in. And then I'm gonna catch myself some sleep. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. I tell you all the time, but you guys are the best part of the show. I love having you guys here. I love spending time with you, and you guys make me laugh so much. Oh my God. You make some of these really hard cases actually tolerable. If nothing else, at least I have like-minded people to, scream at the clouds with. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.